Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to MSRL's third season of our league in ACC. Joining me is Psycho Kaiser as well as Positive Padovian. Hello.
Yep. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the season opener of the Malaysia Sim Racing League.
Pav, you there?
Good evening, good evening.
Yeah. How excited are you guys for the season?
So, what do you want me to intro? Okay,
Lamar.
I can introduce myself. Yeah, it's all right. So, to those who are new here, welcome. My name is Psycho Kaiser. You can address me as Psycho pretty much. I'll be your one of the commentators for this race. So I'm actually a former MSRL driver, but I now turned commentator, so I can provide you all with some technical knowledge and all about the racing bits, and I'll also be controlling the stream for a bit. Yeah. So nice to meet you all, and I hope to be of a great commentary. Yes.
Yeah. How about you, Pav?
All right. Yeah.
I'm
Introduce
Pavlovian. I'm a new Malaysian PNG tuber. I started streaming in November of just last year, so I've been on the scene for about 8 months now. My usual wheelhouse is Valorant. I've commentated on Valorant games before, but this is my very first time commentating on a race.
Yeah.
So I'm mostly brought on for color, but I'm very excited for what we have ahead of us.
Yeah, I basically pulled Pav in because I knew Pav could talk and I couldn't, but I could at least also help him as well as Psycho to give him some insights of what we do in racing, what we do in sim racing, and help to facilitate the commentary for MSRL's league. So I guess I'll introduce myself. Hi, my name is Newbie. I am also a previous MSRL driver. To be fair, I actually host the MSRL leagues from season 1 all the way to season 3. I usually race in other leagues as well, such as RCI, Simifer, and today, we have we have hosted leagues before, and we thought, why not up the visibility as well as the production of MSRL by having a commentary team. We used to have a commentary team for F1, but unfortunately our previous commentator was a bit busy. As such, we stopped our commentary. So this time around we started to start it back up again.
Yeah, definitely took us a while to actually get a commentator, and technically I just happened to be free. I was gonna race in Suzuka, but because of time constraints, as evidenced by today, I just got back home just half an hour before the session actually started. So it was such a rushing time, and I actually did a last minute notice to Newbie and told him just like, hey Newbie, I just just came around to commentate. So it's a funny situation, but yeah, here we are. So it's fine. Okay, I hope everyone is doing well. So now let's get to the racing action. So Pav, okay, first of all, since you're new to motor racing, okay, I'd like to ask you a bit of a question. So how much do you know about car racing and all?
Oh man, I was actually that was going to be my first question right off the rip. My first question was going to be like, could you give me like a little bit of a rundown on like Assetto Competizione and like how it differs from other races?
Okay, so basically, Assetto Corsa Competizione is the official game for GT World Challenge. Basically, it's like the top level of GT racing. GT racing is basically like the sports car, supercar, supercar becoming an even more race car. That's kind of the simplest way I could give it to you, but you can think of it as
the immediate comparisons, or at least the immediate popular comparisons, are NASCAR and F1, right?
Yeah.
We recognize the cars are not from F1, but we recognize the tracks are from F1. We recognize the cars are from NASCAR, but the tracks are not from NASCAR.
You could say this is production car on steroids. Yeah, supercars on steroids, pretty much. Supercar sports car on steroids. You could see a bunch of different cars. I'm pretty sure you know some of the brands. You know, Porsche, Lamborghini. I'm pretty sure you know the logos, right? At least.
At least a few. At least a few.
Okay, so at least you're a bit familiar, so I'll give you that. Okay, so we have a bunch of racers. We have a bunch of cars going in here. Actually, we just finished our practice session, and now we're gonna get into qualifying. So I'll be doing controlling for now. Let's see. At the moment, we're riding on board with Raiden Shogun. Basically, I think he topped free practice earlier earlier today. So I guess we could see him at the top. Probably he'll be in the running for pole position. He's riding the he's driving the McLaren 720S Evo.
Yeah, Shogun is a very big contender for this in this race. There are a few people on that we have an eye on. You know, Envy being one of them. We might have Florian take Raiden's spot. Who knows? The grid is pretty close. Our pre-qualifying shows that everyone's within a second of each other's pace. But I think it's up to, because this is a very much a longer race, we'll have to see who can manage the tires better, who can not make mistakes before they have to pit, and you know, just have a very clean race. The grid is pretty small. We have 14 drivers on track right now, but that doesn't mean that you know, things can happen, especially at the start of the race or you know, during the pit stops. There's definitely
a lot can happen in racing. It's not just cars going fast, but you have to literally try to overtake the other, be it for position or especially those who are just like way behind. Those are the ones that we call the back markers, the lapped cars. So if you see some cars that are overtaking the other but not for position, those are lapped cars. They'll be given a blue flag. Blue flag means you have to move over. Not necessarily move over per se, but you just have to be safe. Let the faster car through when you can at a safe spot.
Oh yeah, that's always confused me. Can you please explain that like one more time? Like,
okay,
that was always weird to me. It's like, what? For the very very few times I'm caught watching racing. Let's say for example, Chinese New Year for example is always a big time. Whenever there's a big race, like whenever you're at the relative's house, that's always the time where you're watching racing. And you're like, wait, why is that happening? Would you kindly?
Do you want me to explain it? I think honestly. So blue flags actually have different meanings in different race series. So in F1 there is blue flags they are enforced, whereby you are required to let the faster driver by in a specific amount of time, whereas blue flags in GT racing, which is what we have now, are non-enforceable. What that means is that the blue flags are mainly just to indicate that someone is faster than you, and either you are to let them by at your own discretion, or they have to overtake you at their own discretion as well. What you're not allowed to do is to defend as well as block them as they try to make a move on you. So this is
ordinarily,
done.
if there was no blue flag, you would be able to.
What do you mean? Sorry.
Where if there were no blue flag, you would be able to you would be able to fight for your position.
Yes, so basically it's the indication for the car in front as well as the driver that's behind to know that this is not for position and they are slower than you. So don't be too aggressive, but you want to be aggressive to get by, but it's not for position. So you don't have to like, you know, fight like crazy. You need to be safe. They might be slower than you. It's also just a overall good indication for everyone around to know what's going on.
Now, how define faster than you? How is it measured that someone behind you can be measured as faster than you?
That is measured by if they are a lap down. So it means that the driver behind.
Oh, that means they've gone one whole lap over.
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay, I understand now.
Or more. So it's either 1 lap or 2 lap. As long as you're not on the leading lap, you are given the blue flag.
I see. So then this driver who's faster than you has literally gone around the bend a couple times now, perhaps even more than once.
Yes.
And will let you know because you probably should let them by.
Yes. Whereas in qualifying, it just means that the driver in front that is given the blue flag has exceeded 3 minutes, which means that their lap is invalid. So this means that it's to indicate that the driver in front that's in the running qualifying that we have right now, that you should really get out of the way because the guy behind is actually gunning for positions. This is important because actually impeding any sort of qualifying laps, be it intentional, can actually lead to a penalty for impeding a qualifying lap. This is done in sim as well as in F1. This impeding penalty is enforced in F1, where if you don't give your positions in a certain amount of time, they will give you the penalty. Or in GT racing, it's mainly for when we get a protest from drivers, they will say that they are purposely ignoring the blue flags. What that means is that when you are given the blue flag, you just defend and all that. For certain leagues, they will say that's part of GT racing, where it's up to the faster driver to have discretion in how to overtake. Whereas certain leagues, they will say that you're holding them up a bit too much. Please don't do that.
Essentially, basically almost making it so that certain leagues have house rules on whether or not, on how much you are allowed to jockey for position when it's a blue flag condition.
Yes, actually in official 24-hour rules, right?
24-hour rules?
Like 24 hours of Le Mans, 24 hours of Spa. The rule, there are actually strategies where you don't hold up the driver per se, you don't block them, but you hold them up by giving it, just staying in your line. It can get quite annoying for the driver because in big events such as the 24 hours of the Nürburgring, the 24 hours of Spa, some drivers prefer to hold them up because when you think about it, if you hold them up enough until the driver swap, you might swap into a faster driver and they might get affected by you, which means that you have a chance of catching up.
Yes.
It's more of a a 5D chess mind game sort of thing.
Yes. Because as someone who is not necessarily all the way up in front, at least then you are involved in the competition in some way other than I just need to catch up. I just need to catch up.
Ooh. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I just saw
cycle.
Yeah. Anyway, so what we have missed earlier, so basically Raiden Shogun is on provisional pole, and as we just and as we speak, Dalvin Pelsing actually qualifies to P2. Ooh, just finishes off with that power slide onto turn 2. But yeah, anyway, Raiden Shogun is on provisional pole, and Dalvin's in P2. Florian Herzog in P3, in the Lamborghini, Mark Feldman, Switz in P4. Hang on. Naim in P5, Hazik in P6, Azrin in P7, top of the AM qualifiers at the moment. Actually, quite.
I see. I highly updated P7.
But basically, the AM field is really close to each other. Actually, I don't know why there's two M Farhans. I see one in a Ferrari and the other in
We actually have two Muhammad Farhans.
Ah, interesting.
Yes.
They might be twins, mayhaps, but
I can assure you they are not twins,
see.
but they will be pretty confusing. We might need to sort them out by the car numbers. As
probably.
Pav just
I
stated,
think...
Mr. Zuhaili did head P7 that has been updated in Porsche.
Okay,
Although,
so one is the Mohd Farhan and the Mohammed Farhan. Okay,
yes.
Interesting. So there's two Farhans. We could call it the Ferrari Farhan and Porsche Farhan.
Yes, that is
probably. We can probably do it just like that.
We're going to really hope that these two Farhans eventually DB. At least, hopefully, they're just in position 2 and 9. So they're never close to each other the whole game.
Oh, definitely.
Now, we have a problem right here. They are close to each other.
Yeah.
They are
but anyway, moving on down the line.
Oh, yeah, they're going side by side with each other. Anyway, so Mikel Arteta in P12, quite a bad run for him, but I think he may improve soon. I've actually raced him last week in Track GT, and let's just say I was literally trying to catch him in the Lexus, but he just pulled in to the pits, pretty much. But yeah, I raced with Mikel Arteta. He's pretty, he's quite fast. I also battled with him in F1. And yeah, he's a pretty fast driver all round, I would say. He could be in the running for top midfield, but I'm not sure what happened with Mikel. He may have some problems with his car, or probably just controls, or probably some tweaks in the setup needed.
Just a little bit. All right. How much does he have left to catch up? Is it the whole 10 minutes?
Okay, 10 minutes, pretty
So
much.
qualifying
So
happens.
it's quite early
Oh,
days yet, I
okay,
think.
no.
Yes. So
Okay, I
let me
thought something
explain.
happened.
So qualifying happens through the fact that we are all basically running hot laps. So what this means is everyone has a chance to go out, set their fastest time they can get. This could mean that they set the lowest fuel that they have. They put on very risky setups that are not viable for long distance, and they shoot for the fastest time possible. So for us in our third season in MSRL, we have set a 20-minute qualifying season. So for us, it's a pretty wide window. Usually we give you like 10 minutes to 15 minutes to give you a crapshoot. Then, based on that, you slowly filter it itself. We give our drivers a lot of time so that they can actually shuffle themselves along the grid. Some drivers are not good in qualifying but are pretty good in race. So that means that their qualifying and their race pace are basically consistent. Some are really good at qualifying and just fall off in the race. I call that one lap wonders, but they have the capability to get me to get track experience. And then there are some that are just good in both. There are people like Florian, who's really good. Duhali is really good. They are all very experienced drivers. Naim, Adib, Gaktak was also a underdog last season, where we usually don't see him in qualifying much, but then in our standings we'll be like, where did he come up from? And it's interesting if you actually look into how things are going. It's really interesting to see which drivers actually survive the entire race, and those are what's important, because you can get 1 point for being pole in qualifying, but all the points are coming from the race. So it's important to survive to make sure that you get all the points as well.
Yep. Anyway, as we speak, we're watching M. Farhan in the Porsche Farhan, we could say. He just went up to P2 in class in AM. So overall, he's in 9th place. So here's one more thing to note, Pav. If you see the white background race number, those are the pro drivers. And then those that have the red cube, we could say, red square with their racing number on, that's the AM drivers. So professionals and amateur drivers, basically. So we split that into two classes, and technically they all are racing for position, but you could say that those who are in the AM class, the red squared background, pretty much they'll be fighting against their own in their own class. So if even though they may get, let's say, P8, so basically top of AM, you could say M. Azrin may finish P8 overall, but he would still win his class.
He was technically top of the amateur league.
Yes, exactly. This is multi-class racing. You may be aware of it sometimes. Like you could check on 24 Hours of Le Mans, where they have like different cars for different classes. That's basically one of the popular motorsports when it comes to endurance racing. It's actually the top of endurance racing. But at the moment, in our case, as GT World Challenge, which is what Assetto Corsa Competizione is based on, pretty much. They are the official game of GT World Challenge.
As we saw just now, jumping all the way from P7 to P4 from their very good flying lap.
P7 to P4, 300s of Dalvin in P3.
Yeah, and Dalvin's also gaining time with 700s.
The field is actually pretty tight this time round. You could say that currently man on pole, Raiden Shogun, he's actually in first place. I think he had a time of 2 minutes 01. Okay, 2 minutes and 1.042. So you could say, top of the crop. He may actually get under 2 minutes and 1. The 2 minute 1 barrier. He may actually do it, but we could see. We should probably see like how he goes, as other people are actually like improving their own times. I think one of them are actually Hazik in the Porsche. Okay, so far livery looks decent. I don't know if the liveries have been loaded or not, but
We do not have a livery.
they do not have a livery. Okay, it's all right then. But yeah, in the I guess pale blue and black Porsche, I believe this one is the new 992 Porsche.
Yes, we
So
do
I
not
haven't.
actually have a old 991 in our
Yeah.
standings. We have a old Ferrari. Since the new
Oh
update,
yeah. Gagtak is driving the old Ferrari, the 488
since the new
GT3.
update, all people Ferrari drivers have gone to the 296 besides Gakta. I think Gakta does not have DLC yet. This time around,
Yep.
we actually have most of the new cars. The oldest one we have is actually the 488 as well as the AMG from Mr. Naim. The rest are all new cars. The new Super Trofeo Evo 2, the new 992 GT3, the new McLaren 720 S Evo 2 is on the grid as well. Now being the fastest, as Shogun has proven that the car is pretty good on the straights. It just lacks some some mechanical grip, but I think a lot of people learn how to overcome it now since the update. We do have one legacy car, that is Lexus from
Yes.
the Hasri right here.
Yep. I was actually surprised that Hasri is switching over to the Lexus. I think he may probably like it. Could probably ask my input a bit on it, but but yeah, if you're unaware, some of you might be aware, but like for those who aren't, I actually drive a Lexus. Probably for like the entirety of like my ACC run up until like recently. But yeah, I've been driving the Lexus to like the championship in season 1, pretty much. So you know, even with an old car, FYI, the Lexus is a 2016 car. So like right now, it's a 7-year-old car competing against the new machines. And actually, it's been bogged down by like quite a lot of BOP updates as of recently. I think like it's starting to show its age, but you know, a good driver can always get it to the front no matter what.
Definitely, I have seen drivers that can stretch the wings of the Lexus. It just needs a very specific driving style as well as very car control to make sure that it can, you know, fling that little heavy brake around the corner.
Oh yeah, you could say. I would say like from my experience, the Lexus is a very slidey boat. I mean, even I was surprised to like to like actually get control of it, because back then I used to drive a BMW M4, but I think the M4 currently driven by Adib, currently on amateur pole, I would say top of the AM class at the moment. So yeah, I used to drive the M4, and actually was fine up until like I switched to the Lexus. They both handle sort of similarly, but like one is quite oversteery. I think like the Lexus is quite oversteery. The rear is like the slide, and of course it's actually a bit slow on turning, but when it turns quite a lot, and drives the rears quite often.
The main comparison I have for the BMW, it's a very big Aston Martin. It understeers the same, it requires a rake the same. What's fun about the BMW is because it does not have a TC2, when you put the throttle down, it really goes sideways on you, and you really have to know how to save it, or just make sure the car doesn't do that. But other than that, it's a really good car. It's a pretty heavy, so braking, you have to brake slightly earlier than usual. I used to main the MSRL M4. I liked it, but I feel like I was getting restricted by the way I drive. So recently I've driven the 992, it's been well for me, but you can't fault the M4. It's good, it takes curbs well, it's amazing to drive around, it's like really comfortable. It's a car that I recommend newcomers in, you know, because it's safe, it's and as it's really forgiving because it takes curbs well, and you know, you could just never go wrong with it lah. As you can see from Mr. Adib fucking coming in at 202, and it's gaining as well, 3/10 up. At this rate, he might even beat Zuhaili and, you know, take P7 off of him. Everyone's gaining pace. At this rate,
definitely.
It's
kind of like Adib is gaining quite a lot of time. Actually, he's going through 4/10 out of Spoon, so we might see we might see Adip actually be in the running to like overtake Zuhaili.
Yeah.
I don't know about Florian Herzog, but like at the moment he's not improving much. He's just marginally improving, if anything. But yeah, anyway, best sector at the moment for everyone. So sector one goes to Raiden Shogun in the McLaren, followed by Mark Feldman in the Porsche. I don't know
Quite the
who's
upset.
in P3. Sorry.
Quite the upset. I mean, we didn't see M. Feldman in third position for quite a
Oh
while.
yeah, we didn't see much. Anyway, qualifying's already over, so Adib crossed the finish line in P4. Oh, that's a really nice run from Adib. It puts him quite in front of the of the running.
It's
So
actually
let's
really
see
funny that we have.
who hasn't set a lap time. So Zuhaili's coming on to the final corner, running onto the start finish straight. Oh, Dalvin takes pole. Oh my
No
goodness.
way.
Oh, look at that. Zuhaili coming to P4 to steal P4 from Adib. And Dalvin, what a run! Actually smashing the 201 barrier right there. Yeah, definitely shows his experience in the Ferrari 296. I remember he kind of complained a bit to me earlier this week. Like he can drive it much. I think he was struggling a bit on the pre-qualifying that we have. So yeah, good to see him actually be on top of the game.
Definitely an
for the
upset from
season
Delvin.
opening.
Wait, actually, I did not expect Delvin to be in this position. Because
Yeah,
we've seen Raiden, we've seen Zuhaili being the favors when it comes to practicing, but Delvin definitely tried all his might to push Ferrari as
Yep.
much as he could.
definitely. Anyway, Gagtag coming on to 130R. Again, you could take outside curbs and then brake. Here, the braking zone is a bit tough for the Casio triangle, but that's the chicane that he's going through right now. Onto the final corner. I think he's gonna improve a bit, but 510s, where's he gonna bring up to? 510, let's see, as across the finish line. I always confuse where the finish line is, and he overtakes Mikel Arteta for P13. Right, so that's a grid. Pav, do you want to do the honors of reading down all the running order for today's race?
Oh, okay. In position one, we have Davin Pal Singh. In position two, we have Ryan Shogun. Position three, M. Feldman. Position four, Aiza Position five, M. Adib. Position six, A. Hazik. Position seven, A. Nain. Position eight, F. Herzog. Position nine, A. Saxena. Position 10, M. Azreen. Position 11, M. Farhan in the Porsche. Position 12, M. Farhan in the Ferrari. Position 12, Joaquim Ong. Position 14, M. Arteta. And position 15 goes to P. Hasri.
All right, so well done, well done,
Yay.
Pav. All right, so Pav, okay, I gotta ask you this: are you ready to witness the chaos that is the race start?
Ooh, actually, yes. I'm very,
Okay.
very ready.
Oh, because we're gonna commentate pretty. We're gonna do it on fire.
Yeah.
We're
We
gonna
went
make a
from
fire
just
commentary
now it
on
was just
this
like
one.
podcast mode. Now we're actually gonna see some racing.
Oh,
It's gonna be
definitely.
very
Oh,
close.
you'll be
So,
amazed.
can you tell me what are some
this-
things we want to be looking out for just before a race starts? Like, is it really just watching the countdown go? Is there anything else to be looking
Okay,
out for?
this countdown is basically like a cooldown for everyone. Basically, for us, we have like 7 minutes for everyone to prepare their setups. And yes, you can change setups between qualifying and race. So, there's no park ferme here. Park ferme is basically like a restriction over car setup. That's usually used in F1 and probably some other motorsports as well. But for ACC, for this league in particular, we don't use park ferme. It's just everyone can switch into new tires. Everyone can just switch to an entirely new setup. So uh, we may see some drivers actually being better in the race than in qualifying.
Is there any strategy to be done in these next 6 minutes?
All right, so strategy. I believe this is a 1 hour and 30 minute race, so it's a 90-minute race. There will be pit stops, so basically drivers coming into the pits to change their tires and of course refuel, top up their fuel, and of course strategy would be at play if the drivers can conserve their tires. They can only go for like a refuel run. They can just leave their tires as is. But of course, this is Suzuka. Suzuka is very demanding on tires. So you may see there's no tire blowouts in this one, actually, but you may see some drivers falling back out of pace because of their tire performance. So you may see them like change their tires during the pit stop. So in the pit stop, basically you can change tires, you can change fuel, you can add more fuel, or you can actually do more. You can actually like do brake change in this one, and of course repair damages if you collide with another car, pretty much. So yeah, that's pretty much like what the pit stops
okay,
do.
okay, okay.
On average, they will be 1 minute or probably more. No, on average, it will be like 30 seconds pit stop. So 30 seconds, you have to stop in the middle of the sorry, in your box, in your pit box. And basically, the pit crew, the guys around you, will just do like their change your tires. They'll be like your mobile workshop. If you send your car over to repairs, they'll change your tires. They'll add more fuel, that kind of thing. And yeah, you could say, and basically they have to like stay put for 30 seconds more, probably more if they have damage or they're changing their brakes.
Yeah, but for
But-
sprint races, we usually don't change our brakes. The reason we change our brakes is uh, mainly due to 24-hour races. Usually, the sprint race brake pads last for an hour plus. The endurance brake pads actually last for 24 if you are conservative, but usually last 12 hours. The wet pads last for 24 hours, but the braking performance is a bit bad. And usually we don't really touch them. I usually run on the endurance pad because it's more consistent. But referring back to your countdown right now, this countdown is basically done to uh, long enough to make setup, as well as actually a tradition in MSRL stems from its F1 days, where we allow drivers to go to the bathroom before the race, because you don't want to be stuck in driving for an hour and a half, having to hold yourself in. That would not be fun for anyone involved. So that's why you have such a long waiting time. And as for racing, a 90-minute race,
And is
many things.
there? Do you personally have any strategies around going to the bathroom in another 5 minutes?
Maybe.
I run. There's a reason the bathroom is right next to the sim.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
we all run.
you've got. Can you imagine having to like monitor your line on your sprint from your setup to your bathroom?
That has happened.
Yeah.
Actually, I
Like
have.
all doors are open, all nothing is in the way. The
Yeah.
cat can't be let out, and you have to watch your line as you sprint through. Now, please, sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was gonna say, that has happened in races in any races where we have drivers actually need to go to the bathroom. That's actually compromised our time to, to have to, because when you go to the bathroom and back, it will be more than 30 seconds, and by that time you'll lose time, and that's not really viable if you want to actually not lose time. So, sorry, I got a question.
But that's usually. I mean, not to. Of course, when it comes to 24-hour, that's a whole thing entirely. This one is more than 90-minute race. So then, you said something specifically about 30 seconds.
That one's stationary in the pits.
I
by
see.
default,
Like while you're
pretty much.
pitting, maybe you might go to the bathroom.
I mean, that could probably happen, but I don't think like you have 30 seconds just to complete everything. I think it would take me 1 minute.
Yeah. So you're
Probably
bound
1
to
minute
lose
just
time.
to rush back.
So there
pretty
is no,
much.
so there's no such thing as like, even for example, is there such thing as during a longer race just calling for a pause? This is after all a video game.
No, you have to stop you have to stop your car and then you can pause.
That's the only thing you get to do. Got it.
Oh, yeah.
To save issues, right? This is not the usual F1 games. In usual F1 games, actually they have a bot to take over. But actually in ACC itself, when you try to pause, when you press the pause button, it actually tells you have to stop the car before you pause.
Wow. Okay. Got it. So like it's as if you have to bring the car to an absolute still, and then after that you can pause, and even then it will not pause the game for everyone. I'm sure.
Yep.
Intense.
Okay, so right, so how do you say? All right. So how hyped are you for the race start? Actually, Pav.
Pretty hype, pretty hype. I mean, we were just talking strat.
Oh yeah, it gets technical, yes, but
What's
basically,
everyone talking about in the chat right now? What's happening here?
I'm not sure, but
So
basically,
let me explain now. Essentially, what happened
Ah,
was that Mark
hmm.
Alban actually disconnected
30 seconds.
from the grid. So what happens is that they got sent back to the pits.
I
So the
see.
current issue now is that they are in dead last.
20 seconds.
okay.
Hmm.
So 20 seconds. We are gonna get ready with the race start. All right. So let's see.
Dalvin
10
Pang
seconds.
gives us has an F for his man in the back.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh yeah, they have
you'll
to
have
press
to
start. If they don't press start, they're gonna get sent to the pit lane.
3, 2, 1,
All right.
and they're off.
I'll
and they are
test this
off.
one. All
Here's the
right.
one
So
issue.
hmm?
Actually,
What?
I was gonna say I would like to have was it our extra driver here to go in and clear the drive-through, but I don't think they are able to do that because they do not have admin privileges. So I'm gonna have to go into chat and clear the drive-through because I've greenlit Mr. Feldman to go in front of the grid so that they don't start that last.
Oh yeah. You could have you talked to Feldman?
Yes,
Wait, what did we just see there?
Okay,
Did
so
we just see
Feldman
our
will
Feldman?
be, I believe, P3, right?
that was true.
Okay, wait. So Feldman. Oh.
Because now here's the problem. If Feldman does that, everyone else has to swing back, which is a problem. They do not notice
Oh.
this. But since I gave the green light, I'm gonna have a one-time clearing penalties, unless Zinuk can help me. But
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
that's
yeah,
not gonna
Zinuk
happen
is,
because the admin password is the same as last time. But I don't know if Zinuk is able to launch the game in time to get this sorted out.
PC is a bit too
Yeah.
brick right now. as Zinuk
Unfortunately, that's
said.
not the case. I think we're in MSRL's funny season. It's always the case on our first race. It never goes right, but we try to make it right to our drivers. Usually, I would say an hour and a half race, but I don't know why I caved. But then again, I made the decision, so I'm gonna have to take the brunt of it. So get Feldman in front. The only problem is we don't know how they're gonna deal with the formation. I guess I'll let the drivers decide how they're gonna do it.
Okay, so anyway, just to round off the starting grid as of now, we have Dalvin Singh in P1, Raiden Shogun in P2, Zuhaili in P3, and then followed by Adib, top of the M in P4, by quite a mile actually, and then Hazik in the Porsche P5. Naim in P6 and Herzog, terrible qualifying session for him in P7. He could have been at top of the running, if I'm being honest. But starting to P7, he's gonna have to work quite a long way up the grid. Anyway, A Saxena, I believe this is Envy. So Envy is actually our newcomer for MSRL. So yeah, big welcome to Envy or Saxena in this case.
MV
All right.
is pretty experienced in F1, but it is their first time in ACC. They will have to get used to how the pit stop works here. It's not as automated as
Not
F1.
just the pit stops, like the whole race mechanics. Like it's a different kind of game, I would say. And then moving down, we have Azrin in P9 in the McLaren, and then followed by Farhan in the Porsche, and another Farhan P11 in the Ferrari. So they both are starting side by side with each other, I would say. We're gonna have a fun time commentating over this. So
Good luck,
stay
boys.
tuned. Oh yeah, and then moving down we have Gagtag De Ong in the Ferrari, the old Ferrari 488 P12. Mikel Arteta P13. Putra Daniel Hasri in the Lexus in the P14. Terrible qualifying for him, but I think I think his only objective will be to survive. But yeah, lots of DMs. And then finally we have Mark Feldman, who disconnected earlier on. But
Now,
I think
up front.
he will
He's not
be
up front, but we are not sure how this is gonna go because I don't know how they're gonna sort this out. I hope they figure this out because I'm gonna have I'm gonna have a lot of work on my hand.
All right, so we're approaching the final corner. All cars are going to be going on double file, so they're going to go side by side, 2 rows, each. Sorry, 2 cars on each row, and they're going to have to like tackle this one out. If they are in the wrong position, they will get a drive-through.
I'm gonna get a
penalty.
lot of drive-throughs.
We're all gonna have a lot of drive-throughs. Okay, so anyway, race start coming in. Are we gonna go helicam? I think we're gonna go the start TV cam. All right, helicam later on. Anyway, green flag. The races go for MSRL season 3. Oh, Dalvin tried to block off Raiden Shogun in P2. Oh, what's going on?
Sorry, I just
All
have
right,
to make
so
sure that you don't have a drive-through. That's about it.
yeah, that's okay. I think everyone's having a clean start at the moment. I think like Mark Feldman moved up to P4 in our timing screens right now. Okay, so quite a great start for him. I think he climbed up quite a lot, probably because of that clear drive-through going on. Anyway, so Dalvin making his way on to the last bit of the S's before going on to the Degner curve. So Degner is the double apex corner. You can see the first bit, you're gonna have to be very careful here. A lot of the cars can just spin out just from hitting the bump there. I have experienced it firsthand a couple of times, but yeah. Anyway, on to
very
the
clean start from
second
everyone.
beat. Yeah,
No contact
very
at all.
clean start actually. So yeah, no yellow flags yet, which is actually very a very good thing.
Yeah, and what
Right,
we
so
didn't
everyone's
realize
going
was
clean.
that Azrin
we-
actually sliced the both Farhans in the middle, catching
Oh,
up to
yeah.
both of them.
Mhm.
P11, third on M Championship. Hopefully, that seems to be closing in, but we're not sure how this is going to end up. But you have to remember, this is a 90-minute race. You know, anything could happen. But it seems like the
Okay.
grid is really close right now.
Yeah, definitely very close. I think like Herzog is trying to overtake Naim. We can drive on. We can ride on board with Herzog at the moment. Going through 130R, very fast corner. You have to tap the brakes a bit, as seen from Naim. Oh boy, look at Adib. I think I don't know what happened to Adib. It just-
What a
What
push!
a
What a
oh
push!
my god, what are you doing?
No!
Brother. And everyone just cutting the corner because they have someone blocking.
Okay, so we're gonna watch the replay for this one. Want to see what happened between Herzog and Hazik, apparently. So yeah, not a good start for Herzog in the Lamborghini. All right, so apparently Adib moved over a bit. I think he's trying to be cautious. Oh, look at that! Oh,
Oh,
my goodness!
That was
Yeah.
definitely a rookie mistake.
Yeah.
You sound disappointed. Why do you sound disappointed? Like specifically, like what are you disappointed about?
You know, from an experienced driver to an experienced driver, you know, these kind of rookie mistakes shouldn't happen. Kind of, you know, reflects badly on oneself, especially on racecraft. And it's lucky that it's at the start of the race, kind of. But at the end of the day, you are affecting someone else's drive. It's not fun, you know, that you're affecting other people's race. You're gonna incur a lot of damage towards the end, especially in a track that's as so aero sensitive as Suzuka is. You're basically giving them a very major disadvantage that basically throws them out of the race. You're gonna give them 15 seconds of damage. You're gonna, you know, affect how they're gonna pit. They're gonna lose a lot of time just not pitting, just so that they don't waste their pit stop. And it's basically
tell me-
gonna
Yeah,
affect
just
them
driving the car
overall,
itself,
yeah.
you have a lot of damage. Your car's gonna behave differently. Anyway, Hazik trying to make a move on on in the Ferrari for P12. Oh, look at that side by side. Oh, to Spoon. Oh, around the outside. Oh, not too bad.
Yeah, they're
Not too
definitely
bad
really
by
angry
Hazik. I
right
think
now.
he's gonna have to make quite a lot of time, and then Herzog has to go through. Gat as well. Like he goes to on as well. All right. Anyway, we're gonna ride on board with him again. We're gonna see him going through 130R. All right, he has to be quite careful here, especially on the run to Casio triangle. Anyway, braking around the outside we go. Oh, where's Ong? I'm pretty sure Ong just gave way to Herzog. All right, so Herzog's up to P13. So good stuff, right?
Yeah, they're
Good
definitely
stuff. But
chasing
I
for the
think
time. You want to make sure that
yeah.
you know, they want to gain up for lost time. Naim
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, on to turn one. Farhan seems to be trying to make a move on Saxena in the McLaren. All right, so going through DSs, I do hope that Farhan definitely knows how to gain time here because, of course, like what Nick said earlier, he basically MSRL has like a very degree of a variety of drivers from one lap wonders to actual consistent all-round drivers. So we could see like some drivers how they behave during the race. Some will be very aggressive, some will be very conservative, as seen from some of our drivers that we've featured on lap one. So can't wait to see what's gonna go on. Anyway, on to the battle for the lead of the race. We can see that Raiden Shogun is actually closed up to Dalvin. So I'm not sure what happened to Dalvin. Probably he's just keeping his ground with Raiden, and Raiden just keeping up with Dalvin in first place. But I think like Dalvin may had a great exit out of Spoon. So yeah, on the back straight, I'm not sure if the McLaren has superior top speed. I think probably more than the Ferrari, but we may as well.
I'll tell you this. McLaren does have a lot of top speed. Actually, the
Oh,
McLaren has
Dalvin almost losing it in at the exit of 130R. Oh, he may have cut the chicane a bit. That hopefully would not be. That hopefully would. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's gonna hope that's not a track limits warning. So speaking of track limits warning, okay, just to summarize track limits warning, if you cut a corner, you just go off track and gain an advantage on the track, you'll get a warning. Maximum warnings you can get before a penalty would be 3 warnings. After the 4th warning, you'll get a drive-through penalty. So I believe it has happened in MSRL Season 1. Yeah, I was the one who got the drive-through for track limits at the time. It was, I believe, in Imola. So Imola, we'll be racing in Imola. Like, what round is it again?
check that into calendar. I think
Oh yeah, we're gonna have
4.
to check the calendar again. Yeah.
That will be
Right.
round
So
4.
yeah, we'll be racing in Imola again for this season. And last season in Imola, I actually got a drive-through penalty because I cut too much corners, had too many track limits warning, and I was in the lead of the race too, so it was very costly. Yeah, that's how bad track limits is. Track limits in GT racing is actually very lenient compared to F1 per se. So basically what you have to take into account is just you can run wide, like you see those white lines, Pav?
Mm-hmm.
So those white lines, you cannot go over it at normal racing speeds, unless if you made a mistake or whatever, then that can be forgiven. So if you, let's say, overstep your boundaries over the white lines, you can lift off your throttle, your gas pedal, in order to, you know, nullify, in order to like make the advantage like no gain at all.
I see.
Okay, so yeah, the battle goes on between Raiden Shogun and Dalvin in P1. Alright, so this is going to be a spicy battle that we're going on through. Both are mid-engine vehicles, both are new vehicles as well. Amir Hansik, I don't know what happened to it. Oh my goodness! Oh, come on!
Oh no!
He just pushed Mikel Arteta off onto the side of the track. That was not great.
What did I just see? Explain what I just saw.
We can pull up a replay of that. I don't know what happened. We've seen that before.
Basically, Kelvin just turned in on Hazik as Hazik.
Yeah, but I think like Hazik may have dive bombed there.
It
so
looked like
not...
it looked like
he
one of
came
them
from
just
far
was
away,
in the wrong trajectory entirely.
Yeah, so essentially what happens is that in GT racing, there's a few ways to overtake. Like essentially, you can be as quick as with them side by side, whereas you know you gain authority by braking slightly later than them, basically blocking them on their way to entry. Or the other way that people hate the most is that you're pretty far out and you brake really, really late and just show up right next to them like the very last second.
I see. Basically forcing them to have to slow down, otherwise they sideswipe you.
It's kind of like that's why we call it dive bombing. So because you're just diving in as possible.
I see. That's why that explains the trajectory. That's why he was so far out.
But actually, what we've seen in the relative, actually they were fighting for it. It was essentially what happened was that
Oh.
Mikhail just basically pushed them off wide, turned in as if they weren't there. Essentially, you can't do that. You know, the car's there. You basically have to, give some sort of
Respect.
respect that
Yep.
they are there, or else you'll end up with what Mikhail did, bang this out the door. You know, get yourself a bit.
Well, everyone loses time. Everyone's grumpy.
Everyone's grumpy.
Anyway, what else are we looking at here now?
We're looking at the battle for the lead. We're watching Raiden Shogun chasing Dalvin for the lead. So will he line up a move down inside? Oh, not really. He's a bit too far away. We can ride on board with Raiden at the moment. This is such a great sight. Suzuka is one of the best old school tracks in my opinion. And yeah, you can see grass everywhere on the side. Nowadays, like modern tracks, you see like the asphalt runoffs. Those are the tarmac runoffs you see on the left side, as you can see there. But yeah, Suzuka has that, but basically all the other parts of the track are just grass. If you push your limits over there, you'll be sent to the Shadow Realm. But yeah. Anyway, going through the S's for Raiden and also riding on board with Naim. Naim is doing pretty well actually. He's currently chasing Mark Feldman for P4.
Yeah, they're definitely doing really well to Mercedes. Speaking from experience, the Mercedes is actually, for my driving anyways, pretty temperamental. It understeers like crazy, it goes wide, but as soon as you give it power, it's such a lively thing. I would say it's such an addicting car to drive, but unfortunately it just doesn't suit my driving style. But if you know how to drive this thing, my god, you've seen that single driver drive this thing. They are really quick. They are basically the top runners that you can have in the game itself. But with it comes a very temperamental car and definitely a very specific driving style as you can see here.
Yep. Anyway, where's Herzog? Oh, Herzog just made a move on Hazik as well. I think they both had a coming together earlier on lap 1.
They definitely are not happy with each
this
other,
is
I'll tell you
part
that.
2. Oh, this is part 2 of the battle. I'm pretty sure, like, I'm not sure what Hazik's gonna do, but I do hope this does not go south for both drivers. Okay, we do not wish for one driver to be taken out, even though one is at fault or the other. But basically, just whatever the situation is, just keep your head down. Just race respectfully. You know, whatever happens on track, just leave it on track. If you go off track, then yeah, that's probably on them. Anyway, onto the Casio Triangle, the final few corners on the racetrack, quite a slow corner as well. I'd say that you just mount the curbs and you should be good to go. Have a good exit on the final corner, and then that completes a lap of Suzuka. Anyway, back to the lead of the race. We just saw the timing go to like 1.1 of a second. Again, 1/10 of a second gap between Raiden Shogun and Dalvin. So at the moment, they are both like neck and neck with each other, I believe. Raiden actually got the fastest lap of the race, 2:01.187. So impressive stuff from Raiden Shogun.
And that's been pretty impressive. I think Raiden at this point is just holding back, making sure that he can save his tires, he can save his fuel, so that he can actually, be as quick as he can lay down the stints. Because at the end of the day, you have to pit in. Tires degrade kind of at the 30-minute mark, as I've tried in cars. The Porsche definitely degrades the most, and it really is the battle of making sure that you can get consistent throughout the entire race. You know, you gotta be patient here. You gotta make sure that you don't push too hard, and save as much tires as you can. If you can save more than your competitors, you're gonna have a more stable time later down the race. And if you get a very perfect pit stop with no damage, no issues, it will be just perfect. As you can see,
ooh, there's a three-way battle going on. Oh, Azrin on Saxena. Oh, Saxena goes wide and he drops down to P9.
Yeah, Envy definitely struggling right here.
Yeah, definitely. So we're actually 15 minutes into the race, and we have quite a lot of action going on already.
Yeah, the grid's definitely very close right now.
Yeah,
from P1 all the way to P13 is
for...
only 2 seconds gap.
Yeah, Saxena's running a bit wide a couple of times. I think he's still learning the track, but believe that yeah, don't run too wide on 130R or else you'll be hit with the warning. Anyway, back onto the lead of the race. So look at Ryden's almost lining up an overtake on turn 2, but I believe the Essence is quite a hard place to overtake. I believe I've seen a couple of people go side by side over this section of the track, but it's very hard to nail an overtake here. So I think Ryden should be patient with the, with where to line up his overtake. Hopefully it doesn't turn out like the lap 1 chaos that we saw just earlier. Anyway, I think Dalvin's actually gotten quite a number of good exits out of the corners. Ryden apparently has a good mid-corner speed, but I think like coming out of the corner, I think Dalvin has more traction, looks like.
Of course,
You can see probably through the hairpin.
the Ferrari has a better traction all around. It just grips. So it wouldn't surprise me that Delvin has a better exit, but the McLaren has better aero efficiency, so that's why you see more cornering gained by Raiden. So this is really up to the strengths of each car, the pushing limits of each car. And I feel like Raiden's playing it smart, even though he's really close to Delvin. I got a feeling that unless Delvin is really holding him up, he's just basically conserving tires. You know, he knows that he can just overtake him when he wants to. We have an hour and 14. So why put the pressure now and risk a overtake?
Ryden's pretty close to to Delvin. Oh,
Oh.
Delvin runs wide! Oh no! Delvin runs wide.
Oh,
They
here
run
it
side by
comes.
side onto the
And
Cassian triangle.
overtake.
We
Oh, look
finally
at
see it.
that.
Yeah, finally see
Ryden
it.
goes into the lead of the race. Okay, we shall watch a replay of that in a different POV. So yeah, you can see that Dalvin just ran wide at 130R. So probably got caught off guard by Ryden being so close behind him, and there you go.
Yeah.
First place for Dalvin. Oh, what
Oh
happened
my
here?
God.
Oh my goodness, what is going on? Oh, so just as we tuned back into the live feed, we just saw, I think Dalvin tried an overtake on Ryden. So I think we can watch a replay of that. Maybe that happens. I think like Dalvin was on the outside, and Ryden was defending on the inside line, and yeah, that happened. So I think Dalvin ran wide, ran out of room to overtake, and yeah. Well, good attempt for Dalvin, but I think at the moment he has to play the smart game, which is go long, and I believe that Ferrari has an advantage when it comes to fuel consumption. Actually happened in
does.
real life, I believe.
It does have an advantage in fuel as well as tires, but I got a feeling that wouldn't matter. I feel like Raiden might be able to pace well, but it's all up to them. You gotta make sure that you don't get pressured by it. As I was saying, that's what Raiden was thinking about. Not really thinking for an overtake, but mainly just putting pressure on Delvin. And it worked. Basically, Delvin cracked under pressure, thinking that Shogun might just dive whenever possible. When in reality, Shogun was just making a very strong mind game out of it, and it paid off. He was able to overtake without issue. Safely get out in Delvin's mind, and now he could just stretch his legs if he really wants to. Just stretch it out as long as possible, and just get away from Delvin and not to be worried too much of pit stop. Then he runs wide. That's going to be a track limits warning for Andy. He is really struggling there with the car, which is kind of expected.
Yeah, I think he's like I said, he may probably still have quite a bit to learn about the car, because I just saw him just oversteer on exit, pretty much. Thankfully, he nailed it pretty nicely. I saw some tire marks going on. Anyway, I was gonna refer to the battle, basically Raiden and Dalvin, the battle from earlier. You know what that reminds me of? Season 1 MSRL. The second race, Nürburgring.
Oh, when you and
yeah, Joe and I were neck and neck with each other, and I just put pressure behind him, and I believe he cracked multiple times. And of course, infamously, that last 5 minutes of the race, where he ran wide at the chicane. And yeah, it was a very tight battle. I believe we should probably make a race highlight out of that at some point. But yeah, it was. If you witnessed that race, it was very intense. I think I have it. yeah, I have it on my on my. I believe I have it on my VOD channel, but yeah, that's probably a for another time. We should probably make like a race recap for like the previous races on MSRL, as we see.
Oh,
Oh no, you overcooked it.
as
What
we.
have we
Asri just
seen? What do we see?
overcooked it. Oh, what
Oh
was
no,
that?
no
Oh,
way.
Why
what
does he
just
come to a complete
happened?
stop?
Because they spun it. I mean, let us see this replay here. Basically, put on
Yeah.
power, spun
Oh,
it.
just spun
Oh,
the
and
rears a
then they
bit.
really spun it. They really spun it. They killed the engine.
Uh,
You gotta
What?
recover it.
What will happen to them now?
Oh, they basically
So-
continued. Basically, they basically spun it. They stalled the car, and they really had to, push it back onto gear and continue driving.
I see.
So they are
They'll
on
have to
track.
come
They
to a
didn't go back to pit.
complete stop.
Oh, also we
Yeah.
noticed that we have our first retirement of the race. That's Putra Daniel Hasri. So
Oh.
apparently he's in chat at the moment. He said, "Sorry lads, my head is spinning hard. Gotta pull out." It's okay. It's okay, Daniel. Go get some rest. All right. I believe, like I heard, Hasri is doing really unwell. I don't know if he has a headache or something, but yeah, it's okay. Well done on racing. It's okay. You did really well. We'll get him next time. Okay, Lexus gang.
Great effort, Shaky. Get some good rest. Get well
Yes.
soon.
It's okay. I was gonna point out. Hasri's livery in the Lexus is actually really nice. It's a GSR livery. Good Smart Racing. Miku. Yeah, I mean, given he's a fan of Miku, I'm not surprised that he put that livery on. But yeah, definitely stunning
I
livery.
think Envy is
nonetheless.
really pushing the tires. They might have overcooked the tires. They might be getting really bored by how much they're sliding it. Either they
Yeah,
have to
probably.
pull up on the TC to make sure that they don't slide as much, or they gotta make sure to really slow it down. Or else the tires won't last. They have to last for 45 minutes at least to get a equal pit stop. But that seems to
Oh,
be not
what
the
happened
case.
to Farhan? Let's see the
Oh, he
replay.
spun.
Oh, just spun it in the at the exit of Casio Triangle.
All by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think probably that's one of the examples of if you overcook it, you're gonna get it like that. Anyway, something happened to Hazik as well. I don't know what happened here. Hang on.
Let me see it back there.
Yeah, something happened here on Hazik. Oh, just
Oh, asleep at the
yeah.
wheel.
No, I think that's
Yeah,
the
I mean, he
damage
saved
that
it,
has
which is
seen it.
quite nice. But yeah, now we go back to Herzog. I don't know what happened to him, but
I think that's the fruits of what you've seen, where the damage that we've seen in lap one.
Damaged vehicle. Yes.
So I think this is what's causing it. Basically, the rears being a bit unstable, very hot,
Oh,
very
look
hot
at that!
tire,
Oh, quite wide from Saxena.
and basically
Very wide
just
from
a wrist
Saxena.
one.
That's gonna give Herzog a great chance on overtaking.
Gonna happen right now.
Overtaking Saxena for P8. Oh, it's almost happening, but
I think it's safe.
he thinks better of it. Oh my goodness! Oh, that
Both
was
running
a
wide.
slide and a half onto 130R. Oh dang!
Oh no, and
he's
he's really
pulling
cracking
over.
it on pressure. They really are not.
Yeah,
happy right now.
I think Saxena has a bit of a problem with his. I'm not sure his controls or probably just car setup in general.
I think it's definitely set up. He might need to swallow the pride of a GT racing and actually crank the TC. I think that's a lot of things that drivers don't understand as we come from F1 is that you really have to actually crank the TC. Oh my god, why is that happening?
I don't know.
What are they-
Interesting.
what is going on there?
It's a new shadow technique.
Both of them are.
Yes.
Both of
New
them are
defending
experiencing.
technique, huh? So I think like hang on. So we should probably just spectate Naim here. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
What happens if we spectate Feldman? Okay, I think it was Feldman who was lagging a bit.
I think
Probably
it's just,
disconnected because of internet, actually. So that could probably be why the lag happened in the first place. I was gonna point out that when Herzog was battling Saxena earlier, I think like Saxena was off the screen; it disappeared
might
until like I ride on board with Saxena, and then he reappeared in front of Herzog.
I think let's take ourselves away from the race slightly because we are going into the endurance phase. Pav, what is your thoughts on watching GT racing for the first time?
Well, we've got quite a bit of excitement going on right off the bat, haven't we? We've got quite a lot of jockeying for position, quite a bit of, as you say, a little bit of drama with the way people take it, with the way some people are cooking. I've got lots and lots of questions. I've got lots and lots of things. But I'm quite happy to be seeing that there's
Ooh.
quite a few
Ooh, look
events
at
going on
that.
as we see
That's
even
like
now.
on the inside.
No, please,
Oh,
go
sorry
ahead,
for
go ahead.
interrupting.
That's a
Look
big
at
guy.
that.
Oh, and
Oh, Switz is going a bit
Oh,
slow.
vultures picking at a
Feldman.
carcass.
yes.
Oh, Feldman. I don't know what
Get
happened
it?
at the exit. He almost like overcooked it a bit as well. But yeah, down to P4.
Yeah, I
Actually, no,
couldn't
yeah.
be able to capitalize on that. So if
In
not, it
P5,
might definitely been
yeah.
a good pick.
Yep.
Can you tell
Anyway,
me a
next
little bit
target
about
is
what RD
Hadid.
might be thinking right now? It's you know for a fact that he's looking for the overtake. But earlier we were talking about how Davin and Shogun, like, it's more of an endurance thing, more of a mind game, as you just quietly take your line and wait for your opportunity that will eventually come, as the pressure's on Davin to maintain his line.
Yeah.
And imagine that Shogun might dive him at any moment, but Shogun just doesn't. But
think-
here now we have something ridiculously aggressive. What do you think Adib's going?
I think it really comes down to the driver. Especially when you're in
Oh,
P1. there's nothing to
vengeance.
lose. Oh, it's really close. Oh my
look at
god.
that. Oh,
There is no way.
oh, Hadid was so close.
That is good.
There
racing,
is
I'll
The
tell you
rear
that.
of Feldman. This is some amazing racing that we're looking on right now. But yeah, I think Adib was a bit slow coming out of the S's. So that's going to give Feldman a bit of a chance to regain P4.
I think that's the Porsche.
Yeah, anyway, something happened to Gag. Oh, he spun!
Oh no!
Gag is spun out of P12. Let's see what
Oh,
happened
no,
to
they
him.
are
Oh,
retiring.
just pulled out of the pits. Teleport back into the pit. Oh, it's just a normal oversteer.
Oh.
Oh, that was a very hard hit onto the wall.
That's a
So
collision you can
yeah,
feel.
tough luck for Ong. I think like he's gonna pull into the pits. I'm not sure if he's immediately repairing or and gonna come out of the pits. Probably a few laps down.
Yeah, they're
Anyway,
definitely
back onto the
slow.
battle for P4. So at the moment, the Porsche of Feldman is currently trying to defend from Adib. Adib is doing really well in the AM class. He's fighting some of the pros already. I think, Ong is already disconnected, so I think he's not gonna. Oh, take further!
Oh, no.
Feldman went on the grass! Oh,
keep it
he
cool,
fell
buddy.
into the trap of Suzuka. Anyway, Adib goes up to P4. Oh, Zuhaili pits. P3. Zuhaili pits. Coming into the pits right now.
No,
I
Zuhaili
don't know.
retired.
Wait, Zuhaili retired. Hang on, what happened? What happened to Zuhaili? Okay, we're gonna go and check on Zuhaili. I'm not sure if we can
I don't
get
see
a
Zuhaili.
picture here. Hang on. That was in front. We can't see. Sadly, we
they're
couldn't
just
get
not in the
any
running.
feed.
Yeah,
No,
unfortunately.
he was in the running in P3 and suddenly just disconnected. I haven't seen him gone into the pits yet, but yeah, at the moment, it's seen from the live timing, Adib is up to P3. Interesting.
You can see that these three now are still fighting for their life for World War
They
III.
are they're all battling for their lives right now. I would
we
say.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, look at Feldman just
All
onto the
fighting.
grass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
just
is
running
from the
wide.
replay.
That's it's from the replay earlier. I don't know what happened to Zuhaili, but I'm pretty sure it might be just a disconnection.
Yeah, actually,
Anyway,
we actually have another disconnection from MV. Actually, MV that we saw struggling earlier is now retired as well. We have now currently 3 drivers retired.
And we got
Wednesday.
stuff to do, had to leave. That's why. Alright, it's okay. Anyway, Mikel Arteta into the pits. He's probably still in last place at the moment, 35 seconds up to the next car. But so far, everyone else hasn't pitted yet, I believe.
Yeah, I think Mikel is doing the early pit stop because it is actually like the 1 hour mark. There is actually a lot of strategy you can think about here. You can actually pit early like what Mikel is doing and then have a 1 hour endurance session. That is possible. The Porsche actually can run 75 minutes on its tank. So you can go that route as well.
Oh,
that is
thinking about
close.
130R. Oh, that probably made that probably made.
Then
Still
does
thinking
he
about
get
it. He's still
blocked
thinking
out?
about it.
He's still thinking about it.
Thinking about it, but yeah, around the outside of Casio is not gonna do it.
Can you
Is
tell
it
me a
gonna
little
get
bit more about
you
defensive
killed?
driving, the situation, about
So,
what do you do to block the person in front of you?
For
Sorry, the
defensive
person behind.
driving, right, essentially what you want to do is, usually what you do is you'll go on the inside. You'll try to basically block off the racing line. That's what Azrin is doing, basically keep it as inside as possible, making it annoying for the driver behind to overtake you.
Ooh, it's a slide a bit from Hazik. He's oversteering onto turn
Mhm.
2.
Actually,
So,
for both drivers,
yeah,
it's important to, keep it cool, make sure that you don't get too aggressive. But defensive driving is basically just get in the way without getting too much in the way. You are not allowed to move, you're not allowed to leave too much, but you're allowed to hold the line that can be annoying as we see.
oversteer from oversteer from
Farhan.
Farhan. That's gonna take Herzog up into P7. Sorry, P6. Okay, so Herzog up to P6. Still, could have had a lot more positions had it not been for the lap 1 incident. Right. Anyway, we're gonna keep an eye on some of the battles going on right now. Coming out of the Dunlop hairpin, we actually see Azrin and Hazik back at it again. So both of them are actually still battling it out. Even though they're not in the same class, but I think they have the, you could say, bragging rights, because even if you overtake a pro driver, if let's say you're in the lead of M class, essentially you don't need to do much if you're thinking about the class standings. But basically, all these drivers, they all drive to their limits. They of course want to finish as high as they want to, despite being in the
Oh,
multi-car
and
racing.
that's a
Oh,
crash.
look
What
at
have you
that!
done?
They both
That
got
is
caked together.
devastating.
Oh dang, that was very very unlucky. I think I believe Azrin was trying to get to the inside of the Porsche of Hazik. So I think Hazik got into another incident pretty much. So I think we should probably check the helicam. So yeah, the McLaren just got a great exit, but just clipped into the Porsche.
I mean, Hazik kind of
Would you
didn't give him
say-
any space at all. Basically, you have to know that when you see the Porsche go wide, and it's not even that wide, you have to account for they will come back in. It's actually part of, not to say defensive driving. Defensive can be in a way of, the car in front defending.
Yeah,
But defensive
we-
as in like you want to make sure that you survive as well. You know for a fact they're coming in. So why not give them enough space so that you won't have this kind of incidents kind of brought up on themselves. And because they're still within track limits, they still have the authority on track as well. And basically, it was a closing track that they basically had nowhere to go. And unfortunately, it just happened the way it happened.
All right, so I think everyone is spreading out by quite a lot already. Actually, the closest battle that we have at the moment is for P3. So currently, Adib is in third place in the BMW, followed by Naim in the Mercedes and Feldman in the Porsche. So it's a German battle for who gets P3. Oh, look at that. It's quite wide from Naim, almost up in the grass on the outside as well. So he has to watch out a bit if he wants to get close to Adib. Probably, hopefully, not much of a penalty coming around, but yeah, let's ride on board with
Naim.
let's ride on board with Naim. Nick, you can probably do a hot lap here
Yeah.
analysis.
Yeah, sure. Basically, Suzuka per sectors. Gotta make sure you use most of the track, but you gotta be patient here. First corner, can go it close, and you actually do not want to go out wide as they do here. Keep it in the middle, out the left corner closer, and you gotta do the same here as well. Keep it as right as possible. Actually, not run too much to the right with the left side. Also, you actually have a very bad exit here. That's gonna compromise a lot of the exit coming into this left-hander. As we go into diagonal 1, brake at the 50-meter mark for most of us. The car on the brakes, turn in, eke up the curbs, and brake again. Gotta make sure you got a good exit here, not to spin up the tires too much, or you're gonna lose time to do that. Coming into the hairpin, you gotta make sure brake at the very end of the curbstone, as you see. Make sure you get a good exit. Oh, don't overcook it. If you do, you're gonna lose a lot of time coming into this right-hander. You gotta be stable. Do not go out wide. Going out wide here will mean that you might touch the grass. That will give you a big scare, especially in such a high-speed corner. Coming to spoon, braking. 9 being a bit safe, but you can definitely brake later than that. Going into the second part, making sure to be very patient on throttle so you can get a very good exit. TC on the BMW, on the Mercedes can help you, but it's best to not rely on the TC too much as you come up to the back straight. Coming to 130R, very careful. The Mercedes can run it, really stable here, but you have to be careful not to have it snap on you, or else you're gonna have a very bad time on the right side in the barriers. Oh, late on the brakes, he might make it. Oh, just as he tries to fight for a for third. That's a lap down in Suzuka, very technical. You know, cooking the left tires a lot. I have to make sure to manage it well as we have a very long race. What happened here?
Oh, something happened here. So yeah, we're gonna have to see what happened to Farhan in the Porsche. So yeah, we ran back to 30 seconds because it might be a bit late. I just saw the yellow flags going on, but yeah, what happened to Adik? Oh, just tapped on that, just hopped on that curb and then just losing it on there. Just smashed that barrier, almost going into the Marshall's way of the access road. But yeah, I don't know what happened to Farhan in the Porsche, but
Make an assessment. Make an assessment. What do you think happened?
I think it's just overcooking it. Just like if you think you can go flat out in a GT car in 130R, you absolutely cannot. Yeah, you can just dab the brakes a bit. Just tap the brakes a little bit, and then you're good to go.
Would you say it's more about knowing the track or more about knowing the car in that situation?
I think it's a bit of both. Essentially, what happened is that they might be experimenting. Which actually, when we are experienced drivers, the first thing we say is do not experiment when you're racing, because that will basically lose everything. What I mean by experimenting is some people think that it's good to experiment with different settings when they're racing, change settings, change the lines, change where they brake. And I think you see what happened there is that they tried to pick the corner a bit too hard, and they basically bottom out. What happens is that the car hopped the curb, the floor touches the part of the curb where the wheels are not, basically jumped the entire thing, and it basically unstable the entire car, and it basically led to the very big spin. So
I'm assuming in this sense you mean kicking the curb as a way to kind of force a slight slowdown in your car on top of what you're already doing?
No. What I mean by hopping the curb is that you see the...
No, I meant by kicking the curb. Like kicking the curb is a technique in order to...
Oh no, you're not supposed to kick the curb.
I see.
Yeah, so I was saying that basically what happened is that Farhan basically ride onto the curb. Some cars can do it. If you have enough ride height, you won't bottom out. Bottoming out means that you have you see the red and white curves, right? Because of how low GT3 cars drive, some cars actually bottom out if they go through a corner that has a lot of undulation and they go through these kind of curves. What happens is that your
tires leave the ground.
Yes, and what happens to
woods.
Farhan is that for the inner curve for 130R, right, because of how raised it is, you actually can bottom up your car if you actually hit it wrong. So I think Farhan just basically,
so that's what you mean by it's a bit of both.
Yeah, so basically jumped it up there and basically lost control.
Yep. Anyway, so we're going back
up in the serene land,
right.
which is our Shogun and Davin Palsy.
Yeah, Raiden Shogun.
Forward,
and,
if you look at this part of the race, it's almost like there's nothing to commentate on.
No, it's nothing to commentate on, but I do have something to commentate on. So their last lap, actually, so Raiden still has an upper hand over Dalvin, but at the moment, they're both equally matched. So their last lap time, so for context, Raiden Shogun did a 201.935, and Dalvin did a 201.985. So
he just lost another second.
Hundredths of a second between each other from the previous lap. So yeah, they both are equally matched at the moment, even though they are 2.5 seconds off from one another. But at the moment, we are still in the middle of the race. Yeah, he's pitting. Okay, so Raiden's going into pits. We can ride. Oh, Dalvin's pitting. Both of them are pitting together. So we shall see who
So this is what you were talking about earlier, where some people might pit at 50 instead of every 30 because they think that they can do the last 50 altogether.
Yes.
So basically what happens is that because it's a 90-minute race, there are a few strategies to do. The tank, certain cars can run up to 75 minutes, so you can do a 75 15. You can do a 60-60, no, 60-30, which is what we have seen now. You can also do 45-45. You basically have a big range. Oh my god.
Oh, look at that!
What are they doing? What is going on here? Holy
Pure
crap.
chaos.
Oh, yeah, this is what I meant by the lap cars giving chaos to the order.
What
So
happened
you
to Haziq?
definitely need to like.
Haziq still has a
Huh?
lap. Still has a pit stop
Oh, Haziq.
requirement, even though they did pit. They did not see that they required to change the tires and refuel.
Ah, yeah, probably. So they just probably like pitted for damage. That's
That's
it.
going to be a problem for them.
But it's
realize
okay. I think like something may happen. But
maybe he's still
anyway,
sticking to the plan.
Farhan in the Ferrari against Farhan in the Porsche. Oh boy. Oh, this is
Oh
gonna be
my God.
something that we're gonna commentate. Okay, anyway, P Farhan and F Farhan. Okay, we're just gonna call him that. Okay, P Farhan is leading over F Farhan. Battling for P8 at the moment. I believe like F Farhan just went into pits, just appeared in front of Dalvin, and he came into pits earlier. But yeah, currently this is the closest battle that we have on track at the moment.
Why do we have MRD at the very top? I don't understand what I'm seeing.
M Adib at the top. So basically, he hasn't pitted yet. If you see a one
He's currently in
orange,
first position, but he's not. But it's only because of the fact that
yeah, he hasn't pitted yet. So if he has a, if a driver has a 1 next to their racing number, that means they haven't completed their mandatory pit stop. So basically, you, whether you like it or not, you're gonna have to come
At
into
some
pits,
point or
change your
another.
tires, and
But in
change
terms of the
and add
current
fuel.
overall track position, they are currently in the lead.
Yes.
Yeah,
this is
net
what we call
lead.
a provisional pole.
Currently, they are in third. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we have the ones that we are seeing fighting. The Adit, Naik, and Florian, all at the lead. I think they all kind of dropped off on each other.
So
Basically,
you have the kind of the weird experience of the fact that you can't, even though you're currently in third position, you currently lead the pack and therefore have to drive as if you are in the lead.
yes, this is what we call. You can kind of call it an overcut. If you are really close to the driver in front, you can use this as your advantage, because when you come out of the pit, your tires are actually cold. It takes at least a couple of laps to warm them up to get them up to pace. So when your lap times are usually 2:02, you might experience some laps that are 2:03, a second a lap slower. And if you are, the car behind and you know that you are faster than the car in front, you can take this opportunity to spread your wings, push as hard as possible, just to make sure that by the time you pit and exit, you are in front of them and can block them off. So it is the phase where everyone's fighting for each other, but we have to see how this goes. It is going to be interesting to see where everyone ends up with. Unfortunately, I think with how spread the grid is as the race goes on, we might see some fights, especially those with that we see here from both Farhans, as well as
almost
Adil.
close to. Oh, look at that!
Oh my god!
Oh, Farhan in the Ferrari, F Farhan going for.
We just saw a little bit too much respect.
But that's the fun of
I
it.
did- Yeah,
That is the
exactly.
point.
Yeah,
When you know you can race side by side with another person and just,
that is a very
fight
good.
them
That is a
hard.
very good thing to do. Actually, having the ability to
Ooh,
race.
it's a bit
Oh
wide.
my god! It's
that
actually
was
something
quite
that you
wide.
don't learn
That's
much,
fine.
because actually a lot of drivers, especially in our region, in Asia region, are not really in tune in racing. A lot of us are, because we're all introverts, we actually just hop at all the time, and that really
It's like
shows.
you're all still death matching.
Yeah. So it kind of
Probably,
shows where you have, as going into Valorant terms, you have people that have a lot of aim skills, but they have no team skills. And first off, when you go into rank, so this is what you can see: are people that are really good on track alone, but they can't. They crack under pressure the moment they see a driver behind them.
Anyway, how's it going into the pits? I believe, according to Zanoob, Zanoob said, or maybe it was a tow back to the pit. So basically, it just teleports back into the pit. So that's why the thing wasn't served. The
That might
mandatory
be
pit stop
possible
wasn't
as
served.
well, given that they're 4 laps behind. They are really suffering, but they are still going strong. They really do not want to give up. They're still in this, to at least finish it.
All aim, no brain.
It's going back to
Pretty
the
much, yeah. That's
technology.
basically the Valorant term for like one lap wonders.
Yeah. But hey, at the end of the day, we all have to start somewhere. We can't just count on them. At the end of the day, if they really want to learn, that's why they're here.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we all have at some
Oh,
point.
someone
on lap 100.
disconnected apparently. I think
Oh.
it's Hazik. Hazik just goes into pits and then just disappears. So he probably have retired from this race most likely.
He's done for the day.
Yeah, I think like given what happened to him multiple times, we've seen
Hazik was in the blue and yellow, no?
Blue and black.
Yeah,
Blue and
that's-
blue and black
I see.
Porsche. So yeah, very tough day for a very tough day for Hazik, but it's okay. There's always next race. Oh, very close
my
to
God.
the grass goes Mikel Arteta, really pushing the limits in the Hertz livery Porsche. So I believe this livery was based from the LMDH car of the Porsche 963. It even has the hypercar badge on.
Total
So
rip-off.
yeah, you could say that it could have been a hybrid, but of course GT3 cars you cannot have a hybrid on. So I don't know if you can, but basically everything is an NA, right?
Sorry?
Even the 296. The 296 was originally a V6
They're
turbo.
all turbo. They're
Sorry, V6 turbo, but they have a hybrid system as well, right?
no, actually the GT3 series does not have it.
No. I mean the road car.
Yes.
That's what I meant.
Yes, the
The road
cars
car
have
had a hybrid system, but in GT3 they don't have any of those. So that's basically one of the GT3 rule sets. They can't have like any hybrid systems. I think like they can have like a turbo or supercharger or whatever accompanying their engines, but I don't think they allow hybrid systems.
No, they
to-
don't. Basically, the GT3
Yeah.
rule set is they have that. They have to be all rear-wheel drive. So the cars that you usually seen using all-wheel drive in the road, like the Audi R8, the Mercedes, not the Mercedes, the Lamborghini Huracan, as well as the Nissan GT-R, that usually all-wheel drive, are converted to rear-wheel drive in GT3, and they all have their own balance of performance. Some of them have more ballast, some of them have engine restrictions. As we see, Adib
Yep.
almost completing his pit stop. Where will he end up? You have Florence 7 seconds behind, unable. Actually, no, that is wrong.
Isn't he?
Yeah, actually, we should see Adib because like Feldman is
Yes.
going to be very close. Oh, look at
Overtakes
that!
him.
He just overtakes around the outside of Adib there for P5.
Yeah.
So yeah, Adib is still in the lead of the overall classification. Is still in the lead in the AM classification. So he has like 50. Actually, no, 1 minute gap to M Farhan in the Porsche. So anyway, the Farhans are battling at it again. This is like first name and last name again. Right. Anyway, both of the Farhans are going through the back straight before 130R. We can probably ride on board with F Farhan. By F Farhan, I mean Ferrari Farhan. Anyway, they both are very close together, but they're keeping it cool together. I think they're probably doing what Shogun and Singh was doing pretty much for the lead of the race. So I think like F Farhan is trying to like put up pressure on the Porsche in front of him to gain a position. This is actually for P2 on AM class, so stakes are very high in this. Okay, almost all the AMs are actually at the back of the field, but at the moment they are fighting really well, I believe. Actually, looking at the time sheets, F Farhan is actually a bit faster than the P Farhan.
And definitely getting held
Porsche.
back.
Yeah.
Definitely getting held back by the Porsche. Porsche is actually a very temperamental car.
Oh,
have to
very
make sure-
close.
Very
So Porsche, so the Ferrari of Farhan is actually 4/10ths faster than than the P Farhan. Okay, so definitely he could actually line up a move somewhere, but he probably is keeping it cool at the moment, just keeping it nice and steady, or almost thinks about it at the Dunlop hairpin. But yeah, of course, thinks better of it. All right, so yeah. Anyway, up in the front, I believe like Raiden still has a fastest lap, and I think Dalvin is falling back quite a lot because he's 9/10ths, 9/10ths slower last lap. So definitely, Dalvin may have something may have happened to him. I would say we can pull up a replay because it may be like quite far behind. But of course, I think like Raiden still has the net lead of the race, followed by Dalvin and Mark Feldman in P3 for the pro class. All right, but yeah, as we're witnessing one of the great battles of AM, this may not be entertaining for some because it's not for the lead. But no, all battles are great battles, right? They all have a different story to tell. You can think of this as like different anime arcs or whatever. I mean, it is. That's how I think of battles. Like I see a lot
Make
of
a
people
make
say,
a comparison. Make a comparison right
yeah,
now.
exactly. Like here's the thing, because like
yeah,
F1,
like draw it to an anime character. What two anime characters are we looking at fighting right now?
yeah, exactly. So both of them are named Farhans, but like they may be twins. They may be the long lost twins, but they both are at two different manufacturers. One in the Porsche and the other in the Ferrari. One siding with the Italians and one siding with the Germans. Right. So both of them are fighting their hearts out in Suzuka for P8 and P9, even though it's not that high up in the position overall, but still a battle is a battle. All right, just enjoy every battle you get because that may be the last, like it's your last.
Are these very clean lines we're seeing right here? We're seeing quite a bit of hitting the curb, but is that just
So
normal?
hitting the curbs, some of them can hit the curbs, some of them cannot. I would say the Porsche does not like the curbs, even with even the 296. Both of them are mid and rear engine cars. So basically, both of these type of cars, they don't really like curbs. So if you step on too hard with the curbs, you may end up with like a spin. The car will be very unstable, especially with the Porsche, because the Porsche is well known for being the widowmaker of the GT3s. So they would literally just nuke everyone to oblivion when you drive it too hard on the curbs.
Going wide.
But yeah, quite wide from P Farhan at the moment, going through the Casio triangle. At the moment, we're going through the chicane and down to the final corner. And actually, this fun fact: the start-finish straight in this one is not that. It's actually further ahead in this one. Apparently, I'm not sure why. Probably because of timing reasons, but. I was gonna say like, oh, we have green flag right there, and then it didn't start at all. Anyway, next battle we have a battle for the podium position. So Naim and Feldman, so both of them were battling for quite a while, actually, and I would say that Feldman has an advantage over Naim because I think like Naim has cold tires at the moment, I believe. Oh, slide from Naim right there. Oh my goodness, you do not want to slide over that corner. It will heat up your tires quite a lot, and of course, it will obliterate your grip the far you go. Is that a Brunei flag? Wait, so Naim is from Brunei, is it?
Yes, Naim's from Brunei.
Ah, interesting.
Unfortunately,
Okay,
there's no Brunei flag here, so we have to run the Monday.
Oh yeah, right. I see. Okay, I was surprised because I saw a Brunei flag. I'm sorry to say, even though yes, I haven't been to Brunei. I've encountered a few actually, but I don't know. They mix really well with us that I'm like, wait, what? It's an odd situation, yes, but yeah, it's okay. I'd like to visit Brunei someday. Not gonna lie. But it's okay. Anyway, both of them are fighting for the podium positions at the moment. So Feldman keeping the pressure up to Naim as we go to the helicam of this battle for P3. I believe this is one of the closest battles that we have. We have two close battles going on at the moment. We have the battle for P3, Naim and Feldman, and then we have the battle of the Farhans. All right, so looking at the last lap time, actually, Farhan was actually 8 seconds slower than Feldman on the last lap. So I think he may have made quite a number of mistakes, probably from cold tires. But yeah, at the moment, Naim probably had his tires warmed up, and he may actually start to pull away. But we shall find out. Probably Feldman has something up his sleeve, especially the Porsche. If you get it right, you will actually be fast.
Yeah.
It'll actually be super fast.
Yeah, the Porsche definitely has a shot on the top three. I'm able to get the Porsche down to the 2015s, close to where P1 and P2 are. But the Porsche, the one thing that Porsche has that's basically its Achilles heel is its tire management. Because of how it prefers to drive, you basically eat up the rear tires a lot really quick. And it's important for drivers that drive the Porsche to have very good tire management, especially for the rears, because then you'll have your tires start to drop off at the very minute mark, and you just lose time. Like anywhere from a second to
That's
a
close.
tenth. Really important to that your tires are, well met throughout the entire race.
What do you mean by the fact that it eats up the rear tires?
So tire degradation is a thing in game. Basically, in like real life, where you drive a lot, the more you drive, the more your tires become flat. Not flat, bald. So
They lose their threading.
yeah,
Yes.
in real life cars, we have threads, but in slick tires, it's basically a flat surface anyways. But a slick tire has its volume. So the more you drive, the more its compound starts to
You
wear
can
off.
eventually just wear it down.
You wear it down to a blanket where it's the safety blanket, where it's just threads. And when that happens, you lose traction, mainly because of the fact that the inner tire of the tire itself is more harder than the softer compound that's being enveloped by the tire itself. So once you wear it down, your tire becomes harder, it becomes hotter, you start to lose traction, and as such you start to lose time out because you basically can't keep it on track. It just keeps sliding on you. It becomes very dangerous. You lose confidence on the car. And in some really rare cases,
and why
you
does
might
and why does the car and why does this car in particular tend to eat up the rear tires especially?
It's basically how the car is designed. Usually, when we drive a car, our usual road cars, the engine is at the front. So when you take a corner, all your weight's at the front. You actually push a lot of press on the front tires itself. Whereas for a Porsche, the Porsche has its engine mounted right at the rear axle. So what happens is that you have a lot of weight in your rear, and to drive this car, you basically imagine swinging around a swinging mace, where the weight is at the rear of the car, and you're basically driving a pendulum every time you drive. So the driving style for this car is that you have to swing the rear around all the time to get it pointed to where you want to point, and thus that you eat up the rear tires a lot. So the rear temperatures of the tire usually go up to like 95 to 100 degrees centigrade, whereas usually for a usual flat engine car, you see that in the front tire. And
The way you're describing it essentially is like, but I imagine the payoff of it is the fact that it has acceleration for days and days.
it does not have acceleration for days. Actually, it's actually pretty underpowered. What it has is it's really confident on the brakes because of how the weight is distributed. You can brake really late and basically beat everyone. It's the way that the car behaves means that you can corners very fast.
So,
And if
because
you're
we're
the
seeing now
second
that
driver,
we have a Porsche in the front and the Porsche all the way in the back.
yes. So that's the problem itself. Because of how it drives, it really is meant for people that are very experienced and know how to swing the car around. If not, you actually lose a bunch of time. You actually give yourself a very big handicap by driving the Porsche as an amateur because of how temperamental it is. It is fun to drive, don't get me wrong. As a Ram driver, it will be really fun to drive. But if you're trying to get up to speed, it is a very big handicap unless you're really meant for that kind of driving style.
Would you say that Shogun is throwing a bit by selecting this Porsche car?
Shogun's
Would
not
you say
driving the
that-
Porsche. Shogun's actually driving the McLaren.
So Farhan
Ah.
and the battle for Farhan is still going on actually.
Definitely going on.
I was gonna interrupt earlier actually. Anyway, Azrin, what happened to Azrin actually? There was a 130R, I believe. So yeah, let's check your headicam. I want to see what happened. Oh, look
Oh,
at that!
and they
Oh,
lost
just
it.
losing it on the exit. Oh, look at that!
The AstroTurf is really slippery there. You gotta be very
Oh,
careful.
definitely, yeah. Oh, that's a save and a half. Okay,
Yeah.
amazing.
So
That was actually
actually-
amazing from Azrin. Well done.
I actually want to get back
Well-
up to what Pav was asking. Actually, what you're looking at the logo there, that's actually the McLaren. The Porsche is actually the ones you see in P4, P7, and P8 with the big shield on the emblem. That's the Porsche. That's the green car that you see right here. The McLarens are the ones that you see P1 as well as P10. So these cars are the McLaren 720S second generation cars. they are pretty safe because of how long the car is. These cars are really safe. What that means is that they are not as temperamental as the Porsche, even though they're mid-engine drive cars. When they put in power, they're pretty predictable unless you put too much power on. And overall, they're actually really stable to drive. The downside for this season for the new generation cars is that their mechanical grip is a bit low. What that means is that they don't have much grip when they take corners at slow speeds, at the hairpin and such. Oh my god, that's gonna. Oh,
look at that.
Alright, that's not gonna happen.
That was super close.
That's definitely super
Both
close.
of them almost swiping each other out. But anyway, yeah, you were saying that the rear slid out. You were saying that the Porsche, the new Porsche in particular, like the lights is rear sliding out, right? When we were witnessing the battle with with the Farhans earlier, like I saw the Porsche just like lighting its rears up. I don't know if the tires are finished. You could probably see it from here, but like I'm pretty sure like P Farhan's actually trying to get the rears sliding. But do you think he may achieve faster lap times with this one?
I think
is that
definitely. I think Farhan's actually struggling a lot in the Porsche.
Yeah,
you know,
it does
the way-
look quite like it actually. Anyway, last lap actually Dalvin sets the fastest lap of the race. So yeah, is it time for Dalvin to actually light things up on the track, because he is actually 8 seconds away from Raiden. So you could say that Raiden probably is saving his tires for a bit, but at the moment, like the gap's coming down ever so slightly between both of them. But I think they're still within like 8 seconds of each other. But I can see like the timing screens are going down. I'm not sure what happened with Raiden Shogun. Probably like just taking it easy with the tires, maybe. What do you think?
It might be also that Raiden might have miscalculated their fuel. They're trying to save fuel. Who knows? But they have a very big gap. You know, it's 7 seconds. It's not like Raiden couldn't push it. I think Raiden's also not pushing it as hard. You know, their best lap in their first stint was a 2:01.1. Their last was a 2:01.6. What this kind of says is that they're not really pushing for the fastest lap. They're not really gunning it too much. They're making sure that they can get through to the end as safe as possible. At most, that I see Delvin, if Delvin can really push 2:01.0s the entire half an hour that we have here, they might catch up. But I doubt it, mainly because the tires will wear out. You're gonna beat up the tires a lot. And I feel like Shogun's just really in a very, very stable state right now. And I think there might be tensions if Shogun does an error, but I doubt it. As you can see, Farhan's at it again. I feel like the Ferrari is just gonna hang back and see where the Porsche goes. I think it would be kind of
a
dumb.
bit wide from the Porsche, but
I think
still
it would be kind of dumb
together.
to take a move right now unless they're really confident. I think the best run here is to actually just pressure the Porsche until they make a mistake, be as close as possible. Maybe psych them out for some overtakes once in a while, scare them a bit. This is what you usually do when you're racing. Basically, try for a move and then tuck back in, scare them a bit, and then make them miss the corner. This is important now. And actually, I want to address a message, a comment. Basically, Monsieur said they haven't figured out how to save the rear tires in Porsche. Towards the end of the race, it feels like I'm driving on ice in most cases. Oh my god, what are they doing?
Was the Ferrari?
Speaking of driving on ice,
Yeah.
Oh boy, what happened to Farhan?
A
We could
song
probably just
of
go back
ice
for a
and
bit.
fire.
I think something happened to Farhan earlier. Yeah, he just ran
Overcooked
wide
it.
there. It's like dirty air on the Porsche. But basically, dirty air, if you don't know what that is just turbulent air. You can think of it as an aircraft if you're wondering why aircraft don't follow each other behind too much mid-flight, that's basically why. Because there's a lot of like winds, vortexes going around. It's like a mini tornado, you could say.
Yeah, and
when
also
things
because of
pass
how
by.
aerosensitive GT3 cars are, you actually need downforce. So downforce is
Yeah.
actually pretty important in GT3 racing. That's why we can take corners. You see that we take cars take corners slower in GT4s. GT4 is basically a class lower than this, where
They're all cars
they have
with
less aero.
spoilers.
Yes, they're more in line with their in real life counterparts, where it feels like you can just buy a car and just slap a wing on it, go for racing. Or is. But I think during this lull, I think we can address back to the Porsche comment.
Miguel's pitting.
Oh, why are they pitting again?
I don't know. Probably missed the timing, but I think like
No, it's fuel. It's
it's
typical
fuel.
Kelvin. It's typical Kelvin.
Oh, it's like you called it. You
That's
called it.
yeah. That's actually
I got a feeling it's
really
typical Kelvin that
really
we forgot
unlucky
fuel.
from Mikkel, because actually like I think Mikkel, even though he had a rough day at the office, but I would say that at least he could salvage some positions, you know. But of course, yeah, that's for fuel. So that's how
definitely
short
for
the pit
fuel.
stop is for fuel. And yeah, he's going back out. I'm pretty sure it's
You
only
feel
a
that
splash
he
and
cost himself
dash.
quite a lot on that?
Definitely, a pit stop takes you about 30 seconds to a minute. So you're basically throwing away a minute of a time into the pits. So, you know, he was basically solid in P7, and because of that, he just dropped 2 places out of it. You're basically
Yeah.
throwing away your race for not miscalculating, right?
Yeah, I think he lost like one. No, so since the Farhan surgery, like 1 minute and 13 away from Herzog. So I think like he lost quite a lot of time right there. All right, so currently the closest battle that we have at the moment, I think the battle of Farhan will be ensuing probably later on, hopefully. Okay, we hope for the best for both of them, but at the moment we have a battle between Herzog and Adib. So Herzog is actually like have been climbing up a couple of positions since the start of the race. Had a quite unlucky incident at the Casio Triangle on lap 1, taking out Hazik in the process. Hazik is now retired from the race, but basically he's climbing up the order from essentially last place. So yeah, he's making quite nice progress. But do you reckon he will get to P4 or probably P3? Do you reckon that Herzog will be able to get to the podium in time? Because currently their gaps are quite close to each other.
I'm
Not
not
really
gonna
that
make
close,
any promises.
but-
I feel like
Mhm.
Florian kind of definitely made a lot of mistakes tonight. They might
Mhm.
get P4 if they're lucky. I doubt they'll get P3 because at the end of the day, Nime's pretty solid up there. I feel like it's still 20 minutes, but 20 minutes isn't as much as you guys think it is. It might seem a lot to us, but if you can kind of chip away, you gotta remember that everyone's also driving really fast around here. So I think at most they might get P4. They might be able to push the Swits into making a mistake, but I feel like the Mercedes might be a bit too far out.
Yeah, so anyway, last lap for Herzog is actually 4 tenths faster than Adib. I would say the previous lap, I believe, like was 9 tenths, probably 6 tenths to 9 tenths of a second faster for Herzog. We can ride on board with Herzog right now in the new Huracan GT3 Evo 2. So this is the new Huracan. This is the new machine from Lamborghini, taking part in the current GT3 championship. Oh, quite slidey from Zod right there, coming out of that corner. I forgot what that corner is called. It's not deck now.
It's not that. This is that.
It's something else. I remember it's something else. I want to call it the Bianchi corner, but I'd rather not out of respect. But yeah.
It's Dunlop. What you're looking for.
Dunlop?
Yes.
I thought this is the hairpin, right? Dunlop's a hairpin, right?
Is it?
I
I've definitely heard you call it.
hairpin.
call
Okay,
it
let's just
Cosmo
do a
Hammer
quick.
hairpin.
Let's just do a quick search.
No,
for
it's
it.
Dunlop
Okay.
Curve. It's called Dunlop Curve.
Dunlop curve. Okay, Dunlop curve and Dunlop hairpin. Hairpin.
That makes sense. They're right next to each other.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, because like there's a. Sorry. Oh no. Oh, sorry. The Dunlop hairpin is actually the Nürburgring.
Bruh.
I actually mistook a corner for another track. Anyway, I'm gonna go and check Suzuka's corner. Suzuka corner names. Okay, corner names. Oh my lord. I'm
Buddy.
literally very. It's just called the hairpin curve. Okay, so that's a Dunlop curve. All right, it is the Dunlop curve.
Yeah, I forgot to
Hairpin
give.
is just called the hairpin. That's it.
Forgot to give Pav a track map.
Yeah.
From yesterday's
Oh
video.
yeah, I was actually saying the fact that like part of the I was telling my chat like part of the fact that like this
Yeah,
is
I
a
wanna see the map
full
is just
sim is the fact that there's no mini map, right? Because you have to memorize this damn track otherwise for yourself.
There is mini-maps, but at the end of the day, if you want to be quick, you actually do not want to rely on the mini-map. Because, especially for ACC, a mini-map, usually for us drivers, is present mainly to know where incidents are happening. Because for us, what the mini-map shows is that when there is a yellow flag, the driver actually lights up bright yellow.
Oh, what happened? Oh, Farhan and I think Farhan overtook.
Stop places. Sick.
Oh, they swapped places. Okay, so finally, Farhan has already done this. Okay, so that already happened. So I think may have overtook like way before. Actually trying to make a move is the Porsche on the Ferrari. All right, but I think you cannot go fully on the inside of the hairpin because like it's a very tight corner.
Yeah, you lose a bunch of time.
Yeah, you lose quite a lot of time actually. But of course, both of the Farhans are battling it out still. They're still within 5/10 of one another.
Mm-hmm. Definitely an interesting fight.
Yeah,
I think going back into the minimap thing, minimaps for us are really just for incidents. Actually, there are actually some games actually do not have minimaps. iRacing is very notorious for having no minimap. You basically don't know what's happening. They don't even have a radar. The benefits of ACC compared to iRacing is that they had, oh my god, and
no, what have you done, Farhan? We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
Which
wow, that is it's all right, Farhan. Farhan can probably get him next time, but at the moment, like we have like less than 20 minutes to go. So
can he gain that back? Can he get it? Assuming that if P Farhan just plays a perfect game, if F Farhan just plays a perfect game from here on out, is there any chance for P Farhan to catch up at all?
I personally think if they are already struggling just now with how Ferrari Farhan is already behind them, it's a very high chance that they will not. But if you're very experienced with the Porsche, you know how to cool down the tires a bit, make sure that you have pace, you can definitely catch up. This car is definitely capable of the leader's pace. It's just about how you set up the car, how you're capable of driving the car. And I feel like
so the scope from yet in 18 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, and if you're experienced enough, you definitely can catch up. But as of now, I feel like they definitely are a bit. Oh, what is this? Oh, wait. When did Adib fell down? So close.
I think no, we were actually watching Adib and battling it out, but we just saw the Farhans making another battle going on. Oh, someone went to the gravel a bit. I think that's Adib actually. Probably stepped the front tires a bit into the grass.
Oh my god!
Herzog, oh, so close! Oh, that was very close to the bumper, the rear bumper of the BMW. Herzog is actually getting more desperate to overtake Adib for P5. So even though they're not technically fighting for for position in their own class, but of course, like I said, drivers they'd like to finish as high as they can. We call that the bragging rights of drivers. Say, yeah, I finished ahead of you, that kind of thing. And of course, Herzog is demonstrating just like that. He's getting more desperate with trying to overtake Adib. So coming through 130R, looking from the rear. Actually, Adib is holding himself quite well with Herzog. I think he's actually still within pace with, still actually within striking distance of Feldman in P4. And Feldman, I think, is probably easing back from Naim, so I think he's probably just saving his tires, maybe for a late attack into the race. But at the moment, Adib, that was I hit
really
some rear skids, some rear tires skidding. The rear tires are coming alive with this.
We are at the end of the race, 15 minutes remaining. This is kind of where tires start to degrade. If you really did pit at the 45-minute mark, now's the time where it's really gotta go. But I think most of them pitted at the hour mark. So what that means is that the tires are basically at the end of life. Most tires on less aggressive tracks can survive an hour up to 75 minutes if you're careful. But with how everyone's driving tonight, with how hard everyone's pushing,
Yeah.
This is definitely gonna be.
Oh, by
a
the way,
problem.
Pav, that's the blue flag that I mentioned earlier, so you can see it in action in a moment.
This is
So at the
for
moment,
goal.
like Adib is
Oh
getting
my
held up
God.
a bit by the blue flags. Adib doesn't have to yield for Herzog, but you can see the McLaren just in the distance. That's who's it? That's Azrin. Azrin in P10. So currently we have
SOS.
10 drivers remaining in this race. So Azrin coming
I
through the
see.
spoon curve. He's gonna be lapped by both Adib and Herzog. So if Adib gets stuck trying to overtake Azrin, he may be overtaken by Herzog. So Herzog might land a surprise attack on Adib for P5. So this may get very interesting. But at the moment, I think Herzog is probably trying to find a way to overtake Adib at the moment. Like Adib hasn't gotten to striking distance with Azrin. So
I think
Adib may take some time to.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that we haven't talked about this entire race at all is traffic management. I think that's one thing that we kind of overlook most of the time. Traffic management is somewhere you see blue flags here, and it's actually really essential in terms of how much you get held up by lapping drivers. What this means, oh my god, what are you
that
doing?
was an
You
oversteer
should
moment
turn up your
for.
TC. So what it means that you can kind of play strategy where if you are, timed it well right, you can actually have the blue flag hold your opponent up at specific corners, whereby they're not doing anything wrong. It's just that it's the wrong place at the wrong time, and what that happens is that can give you some breathing room. It might make the other driver make a mistake. They might get a penalty for taking someone out. It's all about making sure that you make the back marker affect them and not you. So as you can see, as they are closing up,
okay.
Azrin has two options, either to let them by, which is what I think they're doing right now. As you can see, this actually helps up Herzog, where they can't get past
Herzog
them.
gets held up.
This is what we call about
Azrin.
traffic management. It's like if you can
but
help
Adib
them
runs a
out.
bit wide.
Oh,
There are so many of them.
there are
Yeah,
definitely a lot of
exactly.
them, and Azrin should really give them the space, and I think they are doing so. Just not at the most convenient time. As you can see, this has
Wow,
caused
literally
Florin
almost
to.
pulling over, but then making him pay
Adib's
before.
like, Herzog
But
may
as you
have,
can see, because of this,
pulled
it's
it.
really holding up Florin back. Giving them a small gap. Adib can kind of breathe a bit. But I think Florin will be really pissed and will really want to push it as much as he can just to catch back up, get P5.
Is it just me or Azrin is actually catching up to Herzog?
I think because Herzog made some mistakes, Azrin is definitely catching up.
Yeah.
The McLaren is really efficient on its top speed.
That's quite
That's
hard on the curves.
that's one fun fact I actually want to point it out. Actually, the McLaren is the fastest car right now in the game in Monza. It can do a time of. It was insane. It's like 157s. It was insane. Drivers that are usually in a second behind can catch up, and I think it just shows that the new McLaren is all aero and no mechanical. So it's definitely one thing to think about as you go into the calendar, where some tracks are definitely very demanding in aero, where some are just demanding in mechanical grip. I think we'll see the weaknesses of certain cars as we go on into the season.
Yep. Anyway, we have under 13 minutes to go from this race. So just to recap, we had quite an eventful first lap. Almost clean, if I must say, but the Casio Triangle had its moment of the day. Quite a number of incidents and battles that we saw. The most iconic one was, I believe, overtaking the lead by Raiden Shogun earlier in this race. So currently, Raiden Shogun still leads the race, but at the moment, Dalvin is actually a bit faster. On the previous lap, he's actually 2/10 faster than Shogun at the moment. And of course, P3 currently is Naim. So far, it's doing really well. A bit of a quiet race for him, but at the moment, I think that's Mikel Arteta. Oh yeah, she rejoined. She is still there. It's just as a lap car. So Feldman in P4 currently still holding himself back. Adib in P5 has a battle, quite an intense battle with Herzog, literally being like quite a wall, quite a very wide wall
It is the
for
characteristics of
Herzog.
M4 by that heck.
Yeah, I mean it's a brick.
It
You
is
could
a
say it's a brick as well. I mean, almost all the front engine cars are bricks in a way.
Besides the
If the
Mercedes.
Corvette was here,
Besides
it
the
would have not been
Mercedes.
a brick. Yeah, yes. The Mercedes is a curvy brick, you could say.
A little
Uh,
bit curvy.
It's a curvy brake.
But when you talk about the fact that it's a brick, I assume you also mean that it drives like a brick.
Yeah, it's basically heavy, it's big, it's bulky, but
But you said that the BMW is not a brick because
it's for being such a big size, it's actually really agile. It is one of the more agile cars on the track. You can see it's such a big size, but it can be as quick as the rest. It's basically the only downside is its weight, where when you brake, you have to give the BMW some room. It is just not good on the brakes because of how much weight it's carrying. But my God, when you put the car down, it's quick, agile. It's like it's one of the best and easiest car to drive on the grid. When this car came out in ACC, everyone basically abandoned every other car and drove this car because of how much advanced it was. And
I can confirm.
and he basically kind of put into effect all the BOPs that have been happening currently in game. But it is still a very strong car. It is still a very beginner-friendly car because of its size. And when it comes to defending, you wouldn't want to go next to this car because you're basically thinking about going next to a truck with a kanchil. That's basically how it feels like. It's like a big, it's giant. And that's basically...
so it has a lot of the advantages of driving a brick without feeling like a brick. Except it's heavy.
Yes, and that's the fun about GT3 racing. Any car, as long as it gets homologated, can enter. You can go from $1 million supercars like the Huracan, the Ferraris, and you can also get salon cars like the BMW M4, the Bentley. We actually don't have a Bentley in the game right now, but we have big Bentleys in the game. They are basically just big white cars that you can come in here and drive it.
Right, sorry, you were trying to say earlier.
No, I was saying that Adib went very wide on 130R, basically going at full speed. If you do that, most likely you'll be given a warning, track limits warning. Like I said, if you get 4 track limits warning, that will be a drive-through penalty. So at the moment we don't have the student sheet for track limits actually, but I guess you could say that some of them actually have invalidated lap times because of track limits. I think like currently like Singh in P2 is actually had his last lap time invalidated because of track limits. 6/10 slower than Shogun last lap. And of course, Feldman and Adib, both of them had invalidated lap times last lap. You can see, for me, I can see like a red indicator. So perhaps if you see a red indicator here, that means the lap time is invalidated because he went off.
I do want to know it. Invalidation does not mean a track limits warning. He actually adopts a very smart system.
Oh, look at that!
Oh
Traffic,
yeah.
traffic. Look at Mikkel.
Get out the way,
Mikkel on the hairpin.
What will you do? What will you do?
As a
hold
car,
your horses. This may get very interesting.
Wow.
Mikkel's still side by
Everyone
side
here
with-
just holding it
Oh,
down.
look at that.
Yes.
No, there's no way. There's no
my
way.
Oh my God.
No way.
Very
Yeah,
close
that's the-
there.
that's the thing about
I
GT racing.
feel that was a W key gaming moment.
That's the thing
I
about
think
GT racing.
everyone held it.
You have to, as a lap car, actually it's best for Mikkel to actually not go anywhere. Because actually it's best for them to just be predictable. The more predictable you are, the better you are for the overtaking car. Because you gotta make sure that they know they have to overtake you. And it's up to you to just, be easy on them.
Hold the line.
You can hold the
It's
line,
like in-
but you can also just brake early. Oh my God, what
Look
has
at
happened?
that!
Extra
Oh, the back
little-
we just saw a massive overtake.
Just a big sender.
Was it
Just
actually?
appears as
Oh, it
if
was actually an
from-
overtake for position, so we can go back 15 seconds for a bit. So
Wow,
let's
he
see
appears
what
like he's
happened.
like a blast from the
to
past.
Both of them. Oh my lord, we can ride on board with.
I think you
Azrin,
kind of got watch the replay a bit. That's not gonna happen. Rip.
Yeah. Oh, this one. Oh, we can run wide. Oh, what happened?
You ran
Wait, what
out of
happened?
replay. You ran out of replay.
It's okay. It didn't
it's
quite
alright.
get the real overtake, but that was quite a bit. It's really he just almost as if he just appeared.
Yeah, that's what we call a late dive bomb, where you just appear out of nowhere. And the best
Yeah,
part was
exactly.
he done it on the outside. Usually people dive bomb on the inside, and What that means is that if they dive on the inside, they block the entry for,
Yeah,
for
they
the other driver.
essentially they drove wide and faster.
Yeah, they drove wide and faster, which is the best part, and that's what's amazing about it, is that they were basically just outright faster in pace, and it really shows because they gain their position, and
All the way at the 6th minute.
yeah.
Yeah, 6 minutes to go. We've actually covered a lot for this race. So, anyway, Pav, what are your thoughts on this race so far? I know we're
I
seeing
don't know.
about
I mean,
10,
because
but-
there's no more thought. Look, there's still 5 minutes to go. There's still more drama to be had.
Yeah,
These guys are
exactly.
Still going at it. What do you mean? Who cares what my opinion is?
Yeah, no, I
Well-
mean, like, some people say like, oh, this race is exciting, quite a lot of drama and all. I want to know your input because this is your first race that you've commentated that. So,
Oh
it's
my
all-
god, Adib, what did you just do?
You see what I mean?
goes
You
off.
see what I mean? You can't talk. You
It
can't
goes
talk.
off.
There are
The
things
spins
happening.
and at the exit of Spoon. Oh
What
my
did you
goodness,
just do,
what just happened?
Adib?
Oh, I
fifth
just
minute.
stamped on the throttle.
At
Oh
the
my
fifth
God.
barrier. Oh
Why?
my
Oh,
He
damn,
can't
okay.
even recover. He has to let everyone pass.
Oh, I
It's
didn't
so
wide on the gravel.
sad.
He might hit a wall, and that
They
one
need to
thankfully
pit. They need to
disappointed it.
pit. They have to throw it
Yeah,
all away.
they have
Would
to
you just-
pit. They
would you
have to
just
pit. But
disconnect
does
at
this
this point?
mean? Okay. Here's a major point here. Adib is leading the AM champion.
They're not pitting.
Adib is leading the AM standard. He's not pitting. Adib is not pitting. What is going on?
He's going.
Will he
He's gunning.
actually-
He's gunning.
Have enough pace to fend off Farhan? Farhan is 1 minute and 13 seconds behind, but at the moment he's P2.
I would have been
And
smart in
now
this period.
Adib has damage. Will he actually get enough time? Will he actually
Maybe
have
he's trying to
enough
get a
time?
feel for it. Maybe he wants to
to
understand how
get
damaged the
into the
engine is
lead
before
of the
pitting
race.
immediately.
Here's the thing about this game. Adib actually does not sustain any engine damage. It's all aero. So they still have all the power, but what they lose in aero in sense is that they don't have any more front aero, which
Yeah, you can
that means is
see
that-
the hood struggling against it.
Mhm. So what it means that it's gonna have a lot of drag. So when it's on the straights, it basically wouldn't go on.
He's choosing to
to
just
top
tank
speed.
it. But I would say that he's just jockeying for position for just a little bit longer. I don't think he can keep it up.
It depends. Farhan is actually really far behind, so we might be banking that Shogun might be just ending the race in 2 laps, because at the end of the day, you gotta remember that this is a 2-minute lap. So what that means is that Shogun only has 2 laps remaining at most,
Mhm.
and what Adib is banking on is that Farhan does not catch up by then. At the end of the day, Farhan is still pretty far behind. It's like a
I
minute behind.
see. Wait, are you saying that the moment Shogun ends the race, the first 3 people cross the lap, the race ends? That can't.
So what happens is that how this works is that the countdown goes to 0. If Shogun crosses the line before it goes to 0, Shogun has to finish that lap. And if it hits 0 before Shogun reaches the line, that means that when Shogun crosses the line, it's finished, and then everyone else has to cross the line, and then the results will be solidified.
I see.
So what Farhan is banking on is that they can either pit and get repairs, which is like a minute. Farhan will be really close to them, and it's up to Adib to push it to get it sorted out, or Farhan could stay
Watching
out
him
right now
struggle.
and struggle. You can see that if you see on the timing sheet right now, they're doing 2 minutes 17. I think it's
Yes,
gonna be more.
it's
No,
not
that
the
was
same machine anymore.
That was the collision actually. So we shall see like what the lap times prevail for both Adib and F Farhan.
Yeah, so
So
they are
let's
losing
see.
about, because your standard time is about 2:02. You're
So
basically losing
2:11.
about, yeah, he just ran a 2:11. That means that they basically are losing about
8 seconds.
8 to 9 seconds a lap. And actually, when you think about it, 8 to 9 seconds a lap for a lap or two, when you have a driver a minute out, it's actually not. And we just see Calvin going into the press.
Traction
happened.
said no. Desperation said yes.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we shall ride.
Oh my God,
on the
Calvin, why did you
handicap.
go on the grass?
Oh, just right on the curve and the car gets unsettled. See, this is what I meant by the Porsche being like super oversteering. This
Yeah.
one. And don't forget the fuel balance of the car, because the front, I believe like the fuel tanks at the front. I think this was prevalent during the previous generation of the 911.
I'm not sure where the fuel tank is now, but it still definitely does affect the car as well. But not to mention that you gotta remember, the drivers have been driving for 90 minutes. what this ensures is that the leaders on final lap, as we announced.
Yep.
Uh,
So yeah, leaders on the final lap at the moment.
Yeah, and I
Currently
was-
6.6 seconds.
as I was saying, drivers have been driving for 9 minutes, and if you're not used to this kind of long endurance, you lose focus, and when you lose focus, mistakes happen. So I think that's what happened to Adib, what happened to Mikel, and it's just unfortunate. I think this is the time where people realize that their fitness is not up there. People say that we're just racing in a game, driving on a stationary car. It's still very demanding on your mental, and a lot of people don't realize that you can actually get sleepy racing here. And once you get sleepy, you make mistakes, and this is what happens.
Yeah,
And
well,
you lose
pushing
quality.
11:47. Some people, it can really start to weigh you down.
Yeah, and for some, it's actually past midnight. Mikel's actually in Hong Kong. That means that they are 2 hours ahead.
Ah.
That means it's close to 2 a.m. And you gotta feel for the guy.
Well, it's a
So-
Friday
Wait,
night. you
Herzog's
know?
in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Oh no.
But here's
Yeah,
the thing for
so-
Florian. Florian actually has a different sleep schedule. So this is actually what they're usually.
Yeah, fair enough.
But for Mikel,
Alright,
Mikel's a
so,
working man,
yeah.
so definitely way past their sleeping hours.
Yeah, I could tell because actually last week when I raced with Mikel, we were fighting for fourth position in the overall class. I believe it was at Watkins Glen. I think Mikel, I was pressuring Mikel. I thought he made a genuine mistake, and apparently I asked him after the race. He actually was sleepy. So that's the danger of being sleepy during the race, especially at a very long time zone. So yeah, Mikel really had a lot on his plate at the moment. But yeah, anyway, as we're coming through the final few corners for Shogun, what an overtake on Dalvin for the lead of the race early on the race. And coming to the final corner, Raiden Shogun takes his first win in MSRL season opener in Suzuka. Anyway, Dalvin's in P2, finishing P2, and then Naim still going through 130R.
Oh my God,
Oh,
they are
bouncing over there.
Why?
really
Still
Almost
think-
losing it actually, but yeah, coming through the casino triangle, we can see that Naim is gonna go through to take his first podium in MSRL ACC Season 3.
What are you gonna
Alright,
say there?
well
Applause,
done to
applause.
Naim. He really did well on his debut race, okay, bringing glory to the Mercedes camp. But of course, Mark Feldman in P4, quite a number of battles going on, and of course, Herzog climbing on from essentially last in the first lap, and now he's up to P5.
Well,
Anyway,
yes,
Adit was still with
Adit's-
damage.
Adit's
Sadly
gambit paying
for
off.
okay, sadly for Farhan, I think Farhan's race is already finished, so he can't do anything. He was already been overtaken by Raiden Shogun. So at the moment, Adib is the last one to be crossing the finish line. So yeah, Adib had a late race mistake. He actually crashed into the barrier very hard at the exit of Spoon. So yeah, coming to the final corner with a dented hood, but not a dented pride. Okay, not a single dent on his career on this one as he wins the AM class.
Limited low.
All right, so
actually,
woo,
what
that
were
was a
we
very good
asking just
race.
now, Pav?
Oh, oh no, I don't think I was gonna ask anything. I think I was just I think I was gonna make the same thing he was talking about, like just dragging himself across the finishing line.
Yeah, it is a sad scene to see Farhan making a big mistake, but this is part of racing.
But his gambit also paid off in the end. He was right to just hold the position, just keep huddling it down, and he held his position all the way.
Yeah, definitely. That was actually
Definitely.
right
Anyway,
call.
do we want to call the drivers for interviews? by any
I
chance?
think not this round. I think we can plan that for next round.
Alright,
Actually, I want
cool,
to
cool.
give when Pav to actually give his thoughts about this. How do you like how do you like what you see today?
Oh, it's very dramatic. I had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it's okay.
Wow.
We're gonna have
Great.
more
It was a
of this,
great race.
like
It was a
every
great
2
race.
weeks. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed today's race. Okay, it was really fun. If you want my opinion, Raiden really did a stellar drive for the win, and of course, it's gonna be a huge boost for him, especially for the season opener of MSRL. But of course, anything can happen in a whole season, as evidenced by a few seasons ago. Yeah, so a lot can be played for
Can we
throughout the
can we get
championship.
positions back onto the screen for the people for the chatters again? The chatters are interested in
Okay,
positions.
so yeah, we'll read through the results again. We'll probably just sort it by class instead, just to clear up the confusion. All right. So yeah, hang on. I'm actually waiting for the main feed to come around. All right. So anyway, Raiden Shogun wins the race. Dalvin Palsing
Hell
in
of a drive.
P2.
Hell of a drive.
Okay, hell of a drive, exactly. Okay, and Naim in P3 in the Mercedes. Well done to all three of them for the
Green
overall
light, green
podium.
light.
Anyway, Feldman in P4. This is for the pro class. Herzog in P5, and then there's actually a pro sandwich going on. Oh, yeah. The
Oh, it's
okay,
actually
hang on. Let
started.
me just grab a screenshot. I actually took a screenshot earlier, but I'm gonna have to like
Never mind,
check
I
it
can pull it
again.
up.
Sure. Okay, I'll just go check it again. Anyway, so Feldman in P4, Herzog finishing as P5, Mikel Arteta in P6, Haziq P7, Zohaili P8, Ong in P9, Saxena in P10. Is it P10? Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, yeah. So 10 drivers. Anyway, in the M class, Adib wins the first race of the season, followed by Farhan in the Ferrari, and Farhan in the Porsche, and then followed by Azrin in P4. And then lastly, Putra Daniel Hasri in P5 sadly couldn't make it to, sadly retired mid-race due to like severe fatigue. So it's okay. We wish him very get well soon. Okay, a very get well soon, and of course, may you return for the next race. Okay, bring pride to the Lexus gang. All right. So yeah. Anyway, anything else to say before we close, or do we like put up a
Yeah. Are there any closing remarks?
I think thanks Pav for being here. It's great to have you here. Having I initially reached out to you because I thought it would be great to have someone that I know that's good at commentary, good at asking questions, can bounce off of, to be curious about what we do, and basically help to back up what I commented, because I feel like I'm kind of horrible at commentating, but I think we held it well. We definitely can improve in places, but it is our first try, and I think we did really good on our first try, lah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Thanks for
we
having
did
me.
really great on the
Yeah.
first one. So yeah.
So I think we all just for everyone's sake, where can we find you, Pav?
Sorry. You can find me at twitch.tv/positively Pavlovian.
And Psycho?
Okay, y'all can find me at twitch.tv/Psycho Kaiser. I do stream ACC on Saturdays usually, but not this Saturday because not tomorrow actually, because I have something to do through the weekend. But yeah, I do stream ACC weekly. I stream VTuber GT pretty much. I was gonna do MSRL, but I figured I had too much on my plate. So yeah, here I am. I'll be your commentary team I'll be one of your commentary guys from now on, I guess.
We'll have to see on everyone's availability, but there will be definitely a good addition to the
Yeah,
team.
it was a good race. It was a good race.
So for me, my name's Newbie, Newbie Kings, twitch.tv/Newbie Kings. I race, usually there is a Friday night camp going on in Simulfur, which will be Saturday for us. So that's going to be exciting for us. But that's it for MSRL. If you would like to join us on our league, you can find us in the description, Discord, for our Discord server. You can get more information there. If you're interested, and if you like what you saw, please give us a like, maybe subscribe for more. We definitely have a very big season coming up. We are having a bi-weekly season. What that means is that next week we'll be having our practice, and we'll have another race the week after. This is to facilitate drivers that are pretty busy to have a session with the team.
But Newbie Kings,
discuss.
how do I find your Discord?
Discord. The Discord link is actually in the description of the stream. Find it there, or you can actually look for our trailer in our channel. We have a specific season trailer you can find.
Fantastic.
And also we'll do it one last time at the ending of our stream. so you can actually have a lot of time to scan the QR code or just go through the link as required. But I think that's it for now. Thanks, Pat, for being here.
Perfect.
Thanks, Psycho, for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Glad
And we'll hope to
to
see
be
you
part of the team.
next 2 weeks. This is MSRL signing off.
Yep. Bye,
Ciao.
everyone. See ya.